if I do?
Covino and Rich.
Honestly, how do I deal with you every day?
Heard all about on the radio.
Whoa! Yeah!
Holy mother nugget! And holy mother meatball!
I'm the smartest man alive! You're so ridiculous. What? You're such a fool. Get out of here.
Oh, I'm a disc jockey.
What's a disc jockey?
Here we go. Covino and Rich.
Let's go!
Oh, yeah. Let's go. Oh, my. We're having some fun now. What's up? Covino and Rich. Spot is here. Turn the light on, Spotty. Just give me the light. And Rich, pass the dro. I'll bust another bottle of Mo. Welcome. Taco Tuesday. Covino and Rich. Steve Covino. Yeah. Rich Davis. Captain Hyperpants. And Spot. The number's 412-267-7469. There's some weird stories we got to talk about, like stupid stories, some friends in need. All right, let's do it. It's sports, it's entertainment, it's life. I hope you didn't have an Astro sort of night. Let's rock out. Because we're out on a Taco Tuesday. That's what that guy loves to do every day. Taco Tuesday, yeah. Hey, Spot, hit me with the Holy Mother Nuggets, please. I hope your night was better than the Buffalo Bills.
Holy mother nugget!
Oh,
And
yeah.
holy mother meatball!
Can you hit me with an oh, my gosh? Oh, my God. Can you hit me with an apparently? Oh, you can? Okay. All right. Apparently. It was great. Thank you guys for being here. Sports, entertainment, and life. Yeah, man. We got friends in need. We have life and relationships and all this stuff to talk about. One and only one quick note about the football game last night. Yeah. Actually, two notes. I'm not here to analyze the game, but everyone watches, right? We all watch Monday Night Football. We all check in here or there.
Playoffs, baseball playoffs, but it was going back and forth.
I did not.
Even though it was a blowout. I wanted to see if the Astros could be one of the first teams like in history to come back from that sort of deficit.
You were the only guy then probably watching.
Well, then the deficit got larger, but I kept it on. I watched both games.
Who watches a 12-3 game?
Well, it wasn't 12-3 the whole time.
When it's not your team.
Playoffs, bro. Better than random week 6 game.
I don't know. Actually, truth is,
playoffs.
You're so wrong. Last night's Monday Night Football game.
No, that was just. You wouldn't have predicted that.
Yeah, I did. I said
you said Henry would rush for 3 touchdowns, 143 yards.
No, but if you
3
said
touchdowns,
if you
I
watched
didn't hear that.
Behind the Velvet Rope during Dickie Doo's dope picks, I said I'm staying away from that game because
I was watching baseball.
You know what it has written all over it?
Baseball.
Trap game. Because
well, you did say that. I'll give you that. You did say that. I remember saying you said that yesterday.
I got some good trap game.
Yeah, Spot, show everyone your trap game.
Or on Fox Sports Radio. Either way, I know Rich said that.
Yeah, no. So it's obvious. The best teams in football, there's 17 games now. So the best team will go what? 13-4, maybe 14-3, probably 13-4 or 12-5, which means even the best teams have to lose games, which is why my number one observation was I think Buffalo is the best team in the NFL. Oh. And to say that after a loss is a weird take.
Well, because they got Josh Allen. I mean, even in a loss, he played big.
You watch that team and you say to yourself, Tennessee played perfect. Derrick Henry looks like a man, and everyone else looks like a little boy.
He's barreling.
It's hard.
He's just barreling.
It's hard to put in perspective because we're all regular sized men. Everyone listening is probably between 5'10" and 6 foot or so, right? When you see these grown mastodons,
Big Brad in Indiana. He's like 7'5".
When you see these grown mastodons that are all like over 6 foot, 200-something pounds, and then you see Derrick Henry tossing them around like they're little bitches. Derrick Henry is like, I've never seen a guy in the NFL, even Bo Jackson, Deion Sanders defensively and Barry Sanders offensively. There's guys that were quick and could cut and move like other guys couldn't. But just
as far as he looks like the guy in the Pop Warner game, the kid that's just way bigger than the other kids.
He's just stiff arming everybody.
That's Derrick
throwing
Henry.
Him back.
Tennessee just showed up to play on the big stage, but after watching Buffalo last night, they had a couple rough calls, a couple tough breaks. Josh Allen slipped on what probably should have been the game winner.
They play on stages now?
So when you look at that Buffalo Bills team last night, they're the fucking best team in football. I bet you on a playoff stage. Yes, Spot, they play on a stage.
Are there like musical numbers?
Yes. Stephon Diggs broke into Sound of Music. Derrick Henry was singing some stuff from Wicked.
NFL the musical? I'd watch that.
I'd still watch baseball playoffs.
It was really weird.
Of course you would.
It's really weird. Tannehill broke into Defying Gravity from Wicked, and then it's very strange. Hamilton. What a great performance by Emmanuel Sanders. It was just a team that, when you look at that team last night, I know you didn't watch. You watched playoff baseball.
I did watch. I said I was going back and forth. You don't need to justify my commentary. I'm standing my ground. I like the baseball.
The difference from me, looking at these athletes,
I was going back. You could do both.
Is most of them are solid muscle. I agree, Jason Brown. They're just like a muscle, but Derrick Henry makes them all look like bitches, doesn't he? He makes them all look like bitches. It was like Cam Newton before he got to the NFL. Before he got to the NFL, Cam Newton was like, no one's open. I'm going to run for 10 yards because I want to. Cam Newton on a college level might be the last time I remember seeing someone like that. It was like, no one's open? Fuck it. I'll run for 10 or 20 yards. But just watching that team, if you don't think on a big stage while singing Broadway numbers, Spot, Josh Allen and the Bills wouldn't be the team in the AFC, maybe the Ravens, but that team in a loss even made me think they're fucking good.
Well,
I know they're
they
beatable,
could've
EJ
won.
Reed. Everyone's beatable. The Ravens and the Bills, I think, are the two best teams. Because if you look at that Bills team that even lost last night and the Ravens, who have been hot, they'll both beat up Kansas City's shitty defense.
Absolutely, yeah. I can't argue that.
I don't know. Cincinnati's just not there yet, right? I mean, so, yeah, there you go.
So Buffalo had a chance to win.
They should have won the game.
They should have won
They had
the
a couple
game.
weak. It was like, when you watch the game, you're like, yeah, Buffalo really outplayed them, too. Derrick Henry had one fucking dominant run. And they caught some good breaks. Tennessee's a good team.
Tennessee won 34-31. Josh Allen still had 353 yards, though, and 3 touchdowns. 1 turnover, but 3 touchdowns. He's the reason why they are. I mean, their team's solid, but
Well, who do you think?
he's just impressive to watch.
Who the fuck do you think is the best team? Donnie Sacco? They are at least top 3. And my other
Ravens, Buffalo. And who's the third, in your opinion?
Tampa.
Not Arizona?
No. Tampa or
Again, can't argue that.
Tampa or Green Bay plays close.
There's a lot of great teams. It's
Yeah.
the NFL. That's
Yeah.
the thing.
Everyone's good.
You know, on any given Sunday, as they say, or Monday, anything could happen. They're great athletes.
My other big takeaway was that they started previewing some of the games for next week. And this is not about football, so we'll move on. The Rams are fantastic too, J-Bots. There's a lot of teams that are, the playoffs are going to be sick this year. And then there's teams that haven't come into their own yet. And I'm not saying it because they're my team, but the Niners haven't come into their own yet. You don't know what is going to happen for teams like San Francisco. Do the Raiders keep responding? All right. The one guy who got fucked the most that we don't talk about enough.
Me in your early 2000s.
Definitely not me.
He does look like he's playing with the cheat codes, Derrick Henry. I agree, JC in Kentucky. When Derrick Henry's playing well, he looks like he is Bo Jackson in Tecmo Bowl. There's a guy who, just from a life perspective, must be like, man, no one's really acknowledging how bad I got just fucked. And that guy is Jared Goff. Spot, rewind, because you were with me. Draft night, NFL, a couple years ago.
They loved him.
And the number 1 pick goes to the LA Rams, and they pick Jared Goff. The city loves him. He goes to a Super Bowl, plays against Tom Brady, and loses in a close game.
It was his city to win.
It might have been that we were in LA when they announced that, but people did seem
Thought
excited.
it was the number one pick.
People seem excited.
He was a California guy on a California team. Jared Goff goes to a fucking Super Bowl right away. And now he gets to watch Matthew Stafford dominate with his old team. And he's on the 0-6, can't catch a break, Detroit Lions.
It's the best way to describe him, actually.
Can't catch
It's
a
not
break.
like they suck.
But he's also living in Detroit. So
Yeah.
it's like Jared Goff. I mean, the guy's making millions, but there is a part of me that's like, that's sort of one of those, caviar problems. What do they say? It's
Good problems.
He's got good problems, but
It's
Champagne problems
champagne problems.
and caviar.
it's going
nightmares.
from LA to Detroit, which sucks the most.
Going from LA to
Then
Detroit.
again, LA is not what it once was.
But going from Los Angeles and the sunshine in which he loved and grew up with,
Yeah.
played college there, when got drafted by the new LA Rams. They moved from St. Louis. They're going to start their franchise. New fresh start, new uniforms, new everything. Goes to the Super Bowl. Dude. And then I saw, because they're
wasn't
playing.
vibing with McVay, from what I hear.
The reason
Like McVay always wanted his guy, and that was Goff, and they seem to have a better relationship.
So I only was reminded of this because Goff goes back this week to play in Los Angeles.
No Goff.
And he's got to feel pretty shitty. I don't know if it's going to be one of those revenge games. I just think it's a sad game. Like, he's going to come back here and everyone's going to be like, yeah, Jared. They'll give him the curtain. They're going to give him the sympathy clap. Like, oh, Jared Goff, thanks for those couple of years, big guy. And the Rams will probably kill Detroit, and then he'll get on a shitty flight back to Detroit and be like, fuck.
But it's the hope of actually winning that probably keeps him going. It's possible.
He had a house in Hermosa Beach.
Oh, yeah. He was living it, dude.
Dude was living in
I go
Hermosa
back-
Beach. Now he lives next to a steamy manhole in Detroit.
Yeah. I go
He
back
lives on
to
8
Jealous
Mile.
Rich?
Rich wants to live there.
Rich wants to leave next to a steamy manhole.
That's where I'm going this Saturday night, the steamy manhole. But just a thought that of all the little problems rich people have, that's one of them. People like you and me, Covino, Spot, you guys watching, people have real issues in life. This is, as Spot said, this is a champagne problem. But the simple fact of going from Los Angeles in a beach house on Hermosa Beach, playing for the new expansion LA Rams, not expansion, they moved back to LA. He even took him to the Super Bowl, young team, and now he's in Detroit.
I mean,
Yes.
it looks nice where they live. I'm trying to see. This is his.
As the Crystal Method said back in the day.
This is
That's
his-
the
this is his,
name of the
hope.
game.
This is his
Yeah,
lovely lady.
come on,
Look at
man.
that. Look at how beautiful that is.
That's the name of the game.
I mean, listen.
He had his chance.
Look how beautiful that is. I would
He
rather
didn't
live.
win.
I would rather live here than L.A.
I mean, I get it.
They
Spot.
wanted
There's
Goff.
deer
McVay
in their
wanted Goff.
backyard.
No surprise to me that
I'm
he's
not feeling
got.
bad
No
for the guy.
surprise to me
Yeah,
that
look
he
at
has.
a blurry, hot ass picture of his
Blurry
girl.
hot ass photos.
I mean, no surprise to me that he's got a beautiful wife
Gotta
or
investigate-
girlfriend.
I got to investigate this girl a little
No
more.
surprise to me that he lives in a beautiful lake house in Detroit. But I'm just saying, lifestyle and career, Jared Goff.
Hey, man, everybody catches breaks in life.
Yeah.
And it's like the one-hit wonder theory. Yeah, he played for his hometown team. Went to the Super Bowl. Had some success. Can't take that away from the guy. Look who he's married to.
Yeah, I think he's all right.
So, let's assume personally he's happy.
Life
Professionally, he's a little tough right now.
Life
but
ain't
the
sucky.
guy's making enough money to justify the suck.
Yeah, life's not sucking for Jared Goff.
Look, they're in
That's great perspective,
Yeah.
Spot. I'm
They're
glad
in
you
a
brought that
cabbage
up.
patch.
I'm not feeling sorry for that fucking guy. Fuck him. No,
Would
you bring
you-
up a great point. Good for him. I hope he's living it up.
Would you
Honestly, I wanna move to Michigan.
Would you move to Detroit if it was more money? LA isn't everyone's dream city. I agree with LA not being everyone's dream city, Kyle, but that's a good question. If I told you they want us to do mornings at 95.5 KRQ or whatever in Detroit.
No, I'm good.
Oh, all ready?
But I'm not making. Am
right,
I
hold
making
on.
enough money to justify
Hold
that
on.
misery?
All right, Covino, you got they're going to start you at $500,000 doing mornings in Detroit.
It's not enough money.
$1 million
for
mornings.
that.
$1 million
This guy's
mor-
making how many millions a year is Goff making for Detroit?
All right.
Fuck that. It's like
5-year deal.
Your
5-year
hypotheticals-
deal, $1 million a year. Detroit morning show.
I'm in.
Might have to do it. Yeah. So that's what I mean. Like, you make sacrifices. in life.
morning, Detroit.
Yeah. And then I'm out in 5 years, but I made my money. Little nest egg going on. This guy's making 10 times more than that. So
Yeah, I'm sure he
can't
lives
feel
in
that bad.
I don't think he lives.
And he lived his dream.
What's
You
your
know?
dream?
What's your
So-
dream? I don't think he lives in the city, Andrew. I'm sure he lives in the suburbs next to like the woods or something in some beautiful
It's got deer in his
cabin.
backyard.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not living on 8 Mile. He's living nice. And I'm sure he has a place somewhere else where it doesn't matter.
Reggie's awfully kind. Besides weather, you're basing your opinion on old school Detroit. I mean, we were there a while ago. It was over a decade ago, but I remember Detroit being pretty I'm sure the suburbs are nice.
But yeah, winters. Nah.
Winter in Detroit. Can't turn down $5 million in Detroit.
Eric Winters? Handsome.
There are nice
Handsome.
areas of Detroit. There's nice areas of everywhere. That's what we've learned as we've traveled. You could live a lot of places. That's why I think Covino would do it for less. If you got offered a sweet gig,
I make a lot less.
But
So
I'm saying
you
if-
can't compare my decisions to Goff's decisions.
no, I'm saying
And the hypothetical's odd.
I'm saying that
He can't play football like from home. You know what I mean? We could work from anywhere. So like your hypothetical's
Yeah.
weird. It's like,
No.
oh, I got to move to Chicago or to Detroit for this. I don't know.
but if
the money was right, maybe.
I mean radio or TV is not all from home. I mean, and not everything's in LA. That's when you get into this industry, you have to accept that.
Then you make those decisions.
Like our buddy Trevor Scales at ESPN. He just moved down to his hometown of Atlanta, and now he's like the main pregame and postgame guy. And he was working at ESPN, living in Connecticut. He's probably thinking, fuck Connecticut. I'm going back to Atlanta? That's big for him.
What does Ryan Hollins have to do as the Rockets announcer?
That's a great question. I haven't asked him. I talked to him and congratulated him, but
Yeah.
I have not yet
He was
asked him
like,
because
bro. He said, this gig is huge,
Bro.
bro. I'm like, you're going to be great.
So is Hollins moving to Houston?
I don't know.
He played in
I'll
the
tell you what,
NBA for 10 teams.
It's a different world we live in, Kadeem Hardison style. My guy, Paul O'Neill, number 21, does it from Studio 21, which is his basement.
Oh, nice.
You think?
And you know what I don't like in today's world of broadcasting?
What?
When Yankees announcer Michael Kay pretends to turn and look at him just because it's the split screen side by side. It's like, dude,
What?
you're not fooling
I do
anybody.
that.
Why? Why would you do that? You look straight ahead. Everybody knows you're not looking at the
I don't
guy.
turn to talk to you, but if you're on tier 2 Patreon and one of us isn't here, if I know you're left the screen and you're saying something stupid, I'll look and be like,
No.
Like, I
that's
react
that's
to you.
playing to the camera. That's not what.
oh, he's like looking.
yes. Yeah.
like
So
there you are.
My point is, Paul O'Neill, I'm not sure where he lives. Maybe in the Cincinnati area. I don't know. Maybe upstate New York. I don't know where Paul O'Neill resides. But he does it from home, and you would never know. You would never know unless they acknowledge that he's in Studio 21, his basement, with a little backdrop behind it. And, I say, as Michael Kay makes it obvious when he's like, he's turning and really looking at nothing, but pretending to look at O'Neill.
Now, our situation is unique, right? Because
So I don't know if Hollins is doing it from home. I doubt it, though.
our
I doubt
situation is unique.
it. Yeah.
We could do our video podcast from a home studio we built. We drive 10 minutes to Fox on Sundays, and in your own house, you have the ability to record all your SiriusXM stuff. If you're Ryan Hollins or anyone that's calling a game, if I was no offense to Hollins, if I'm the Houston Rockets, I'm like, yeah, you're fucking moving to Houston.
Yeah, no, I agree. I would assume
Yeah.
there's no question that he's there every day.
Even if I
calling
was
the game.
if I was the program director
Cincinnati, he
of if I
was.
was the program director,
Paul O'Neill.
Yeah, Paul O'Neill.
if I'm the he's originally
Yeah.
he's a Cincinnati
Ohio boy.
Before
Is
the
it-
Yankees,
is
he
it-
was remember he kicked the ball.
And he's from that area.
Is it the plaid room?
Yes.
Cincinnati.
Yeah. Yep.
Hey Spot, look up the
But somehow he gets away with it. I don't know how.
look up the famous play.
Look at him in his plaid room in Cincinnati.
Is
They
that
put a backdrop on it now, though.
Studio 21. Hey Spot, can you do me a solid and look up the play of Paul O'Neill kicking the baseball?
It's famous.
It's the one time you remember Paul O'Neill as a red not a Yankee.
Remember when he hit 2 home runs in one game for that sick kid?
Yeah, that was.
I
a
mean,
great,
he also
that
won
was
a World
great
Series
episode.
with the Reds. He was no scrub.
He's most famous for being on Seinfeld.
Yeah, I mean, to most people,
It's like
I
Keith
imagine.
Hernandez too. Most people are like, oh yeah, Keith Hernandez.
I just want to address Kyle in
Seinfeld.
Pennsylvania too, though. I absolutely wouldn't move for $500,000 a year with a 12-year-old in LA.
Now look who's batting.
Detroit? No, I wouldn't.
Look who's
Absolutely
batting.
not.
Is that Lenny Dykstra? I could tell by the stance.
It
Right?
is. It's nails.
Yeah. Look at Paul O'Neill. This is the greatest play.
Field, but they're going to have to hold Jeltz at third. Oh, and now the ball gets away from O'Neill. He kicks it to Benzinger. No.
By the way,
He kicked the baseball right to the infielder.
there's a fun fact. I don't want to harp on Paul O'Neill,
Yeah.
but he's one of the only guys, if you look up his stats on Baseball Reference, it says like throws right, throws left, like kicks right or something like that.
That kicks,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, from that one play because it's so famous. But my point was he does it from home. I don't know how. Most people, I would think, like Ryan Hollins, former NBA player, is going to have to be in Houston to call a game.
Yeah.
Anyway, you know,
Just for the ambiance, you could say, well, he could probably argue, I played in the NBA for 10 teams. I could watch a game on a monitor and call it just as well. But if you're Houston and you're saying, I'm employing you, don't you want the pregame and postgame of him with the microphone on the court? Like that's sort of, otherwise we should all just sit at home and be hermits.
Hermits.
Yeah.
Hermits.
I'm Peter Noon.
Anyway, goes back to Jared Goff
Yeah.
and having to move from LA to Detroit. Would you move for the right money is the question. I think we all would, but you have to, it's a compromise. How much money? Where am I moving? 500,000 is not getting me to Detroit. It's not. Sorry. It just isn't. I'll take half of that and live comfortably wherever I'm at to be happy. You know? Happy. So now if you say $1 million a year to move to Detroit, yeah. I mean, I'd be dumb to turn that down. But Jared Goff, different level, different comparison. Guy's doing well.
I thought about it when we
He's
moved
in the
to,
NFL. There's only a select number of openings for a starting quarterback.
When we moved to Los Angeles, it was a big eye opener as far as I could live anywhere, right? And especially if you're not single. Being single and the party scene, honestly, is a factor that applies to someone much younger, which we discussed yesterday. You're past that stage of your life. So if you were to move to a city and you're like, what's the downtown like bar party scene like? That's a great question. If you were a 20-something-year-old professional and you're like, I got a chance to transfer to wherever. If you're 27 and single and your job says, do you want to transfer to blank? That's a good question. Do I want to investigate the scene? You're a grown up with kids. Yeah. You don't care about the scene.
It's true.
I'm out here. My wife's family's in Texas. My family's in New York. Me being in LA means I could be anywhere. I could move to Idaho.
We can bring these palm trees anywhere we want.
I can move to Chicago. I can move to wherever you need me to move because we proved it. You could. None of us are near our family, and you're surviving. So to me, if you could live somewhere without the help or support of family, then you could live anywhere.
Not feeling bad for Jared Goff.
No, but it sort of sucks.
Fuck that guy.
All right, let me cross that off, though.
In a nice way. He's lived his dream. I'm happy for him. I'm not feeling bad, not even a little bit. It just wasn't the fit anymore for him in LA. That's all. So it's the show, Covino and Rich. So much for Rich not talking about football.
It wasn't
just
about
kidding.
football.
It wasn't about
It's like
football.
when you talk about The Bachelor. And by the way, Sharon brings up a great point. She said, now...
And Sharon?
Yeah, and Sharon. Your biggest concern now is what's the school district like? What's the schools like? What's the neighborhood like?
Any creeps in the neighborhood?
You don't care about the other things anymore.
Yeah.
Do you guys look up creeps in the neighborhood?
Of course. What's the creep alert? What's the Amber Alert about? Who lives in this area? I want to know. Neighbors fucking weirdos?
We have a few creeps by us.
So, yeah, in LA, there's fucking creeps everywhere. Everywhere. So,
I mean like actual creeps. I mean like convicted creeps.
Few shout outs. Jared Goff, you're doing good. I'm not feeling bad for you.
You look at that shit?
I do.
I would never.
You'd be surprised.
I don't want
a lot.
You'd be surprised how many creeps live around you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look at creeps here.
Yeah, I bet you don't even
I
want
work here now. I got to know how many creeps are around.
The fucking Bartletts next door are probably creeps.
The Bartletts.
So, shout out to Jamie, a.k.a. Jaime Tavares. Jaime Tavares Ed Fight, Dr. Tim, and Mauser. Did you see these guys hobnobbing, living it up together, partying?
Well, hobnobbing's not a word anymore. That's a word from a year and a half ago.
I mean,
hobnobbing's still a fucking word, dude. It's not a word just that we used during the pandemic. It's still a word.
They're boating together.
Yeah.
They look like they're having the time of their life.
Looking like they're living it up. Friendships made through the show. They're in Florida, right?
They're in
They're in
Florida.
Key West or something.
Yeah.
But major shout outs to you guys living your life, fishing, having fun.
They're golfing today.
Yeah, in the sunset. Again, friendships made through the show. Warms our heart. Have a great time, guys. Shout out to Tony Moriello.
Aurelio.
you said it right. I'm so proud.
Steve in Texas. I don't say it wrong. It's this guy. And thank you guys for being here. So props to Josh Allen. He makes that team top 3 in the league. Although Buffalo fell short, Red Sox win big.
Josh
that
Allen
series
literally fell short.
Yeah, literally. Moneyline Monaco's reaction to that was hysterical. We've mentioned him before. Look him up if you want.
great.
If you don't want, we don't care. But his reaction to that was hilarious. Red Sox won. The series is 2-1. Red Sox, but they won big, 12-3. Another grand slam. These guys are hitting grand salamis. And Game 3, Braves-Dodgers is tonight. A must-win for the Dodgers. And that pretty much wraps up sports for now.
Yeah, there was one observation I made from the baseball game, but it had nothing to do with the game. Again, just life observations. I saw your boy, Big Poppy,
With his helmet on?
and our pal Kevin Burkhardt doing a great job doing the postgame or pregame. And A-Rod, Poppy, and the Big Hurt, the ladies love it too. They were all in agreement that the Red Sox lineup, when they're hot, even their 7, 8, 9, the bottom of their lineup has 20-something hits in the postseason.
They're just I never use this reference. They're clubbing the ball. They're clubbing.
It's
I made that up, but they're clobbering
from
while
the time
clubbing.
from
They're
the time
hitting. They're all hitting.
Here's the thing: from the time you were in Little League to the time you played grown men rec softball, the bottom of the lineup always sucks because no matter who you play with, there's going to be the bottom of the lineup, whether it's the old guy that's too old or the kid on your Little League team that's scared of the ball. The bottom of the lineup sucks.
I'd be scared to play the Red Sox if they move forward because they're so hot right now.
Their bottom of the lineup, there's no weakness. So
Telling
the
you
Red
that
Sox,
Rafael Devers guy and JD Martinez is healthy now, so he balances everything out. But Rafael Devers is so lethal. The whole team just hitting. The whole team is hitting, and that's the difference right now.
The big observations I made that had nothing to do with the game. Big Poppy's earpiece. The guy's balling. Did you see this? What do you call it when I always forget IFB?
Yeah. He's. I remember I was the IFB champion of the world on ESPN.
So many initials.
This little nugget that fits into your ear, it's molded to your ear. It's called an IFB.
The little personally molded thing that broadcasters use with the little stringy
It's
thing
not
attached.
always molded, but professionals
Internal
usually is.
feedback.
Yeah.
Yeah, the IFB.
I was the IFB champion of the world because mine always fell out.
And usually has what would you call the curly rope spot? Is there a name for when it's
The curly rope.
the curly rope?
It's just a
cord?
It's just the cord.
The curly cord. But it's usually the curly cord attached to the earpiece.
It's like just stretchy.
It's so the producers could communicate with the host, and so the host could hear the footage, and it's just their little
the earpiece.
headset,
So the
their
producer's like,
earpiece.
all right, Big Poppy, all right, move a little to your left and talk
Right.
about that. Yeah.
Cut to the grand slam. 3, 2, 1. Okay, now we're gonna see the home run. They hit the ball.
Schwarber really got a hold of that
Schwarber
one.
really, found a place, new home. He hits the home run or something. So
His fucking IFB
Don't say
is
something.
he could be him.
his IFB is diamonds. You didn't notice that?
I didn't even notice
His
that. I just noticed him wearing a stupid helmet.
His IFB is all diamonds. And my other
You got
observation
diamonds in his earpiece?
that again
He's like Twista, bro. Diamonds in his watch piece.
has nothing to do with baseball. They're doing the post game. I happened to catch the post game because I wanted to hear what they were talking about. And the crowd is cheering for Big Poppy. He's a hometown hero. I forgot that he won 3 World Series with the Red Sox. Like,
As clutch as they came, man.
I mean, they won that first one in 04 to break the 86-year-old curse. And then you forget they won again in 07 They won again in 13 and 18, right? The Red Sox have won 4 World Series in the last 20 years.
Look at those people.
Big Papi was clutch.
They broke that curse. They were all good to go.
He was big. He played so big for the Red Sox.
In the last 20 years, the Red Sox 4, Yankees 1 as far as World Series. They're all cheering Big Papi, hometown hero. But then they decide to stop cheering for Papi, and the fans start cheering at A-Rod, screaming J-Lo. They're chanting J-Lo and Affleck.
They were saying, let's go, Brandon, weren't they?
No, that came later.
Let's keep this in mind, though, before you play the clip spot. A-Rod and the Yankees, the Yankees and Red Sox, they're always enemies anyway. Yeah. But A-Rod especially with the fight, the legendary fight with Jason Varitek, right? His baseball playoff play. Remember when he had that incident with Bronson Arroyo?
Oh, when he went to slap the ball?
There's always been heat
the
for
ball.
The Red Sox hate Alex Rodriguez. He was supposed to go to Boston. It all started with he was supposed to, before he signed with the Yankees, there was a huge possibility he was going to sign with the Red Sox. And last minute said, nah. So Red Sox fans hate Alex Rodriguez.
So, Spot, can you play the clip of the fans taunting A-Rod? And then I have a question. This is pretty wild, right?
I wonder what your question is.
I think they're saying fuck Joe. Fuck Joe Biden.
That's what I heard.
I think they're saying fuck Joe.
fuck Joe.
Yeah, you got it all wrong.
So-
This is also a good one.
Yeah.
Your favorite Ben Affleck movie?
Terrible.
I love Ben Affleck!
Ben Affleck's got J-Lo! How do you like them apples?
Scumbag.
So,
Yeah, like that.
Scumbag movie.
I'm glad.
Is he proud of himself,
No,
that guy?
I'm glad.
Are you proud of yourself, you
I'm
jerk
glad.
off?
I'm
do you
glad
like
you brought
them
that up
apples?
because I wanted to ask you.
It's funny, but still jerk
Athlete,
off.
That's
celebrity. We've talked about this sometimes when you're at a restaurant, right?
How do you like them apples?
Sometimes someone talks to a waiter or a hostess or a bartender with such disrespect to the point where, as you've said before, what do you think prevents that person from jumping over the counter and punching you in the nose?
The only thing that prevents them from doing that
Is wanting to keep their job.
they're just a bigger person than that guy.
Yeah.
I'm not, I'm above this. I'm bigger than you. It's like another recent clip of Garrett Cole when he was warming up in the playoffs, how the Red Sox were just badgering him to no end, making fun of him and holding up Kermit the Frog puppets and just, because he sounds kind of like him and Mahomes sound exactly the same almost, but he doesn't have the, the Mahomes kind of, but Garrett Cole's very much like, the sticky stuff. So they were murdering him. And what keeps him from being a regular person? Just being above these lemmings that stoop to this level just to be heard.
Oh, well, there's your answer, because I was going to ask you.
Lemmings.
You've seen it at restaurants, like I said, bars, clubs, where someone talks to a bouncer, a door person, a hostess, and they're so disrespectful. And you're like, and you've heard people say it, I'll jump over this counter. I don't care about this job enough. I'm going to fucking kill you. And I'm not saying A-Rod's going to jump in the crowd and start fighting people, but is that a low-class move or funny? This
Low
is still,
class
this
on
is
every
still,
level. And I had this realization recently.
Take away Sports Alliance, Covino, right? Take away Yankees, Red Sox. In the big picture, who really cares? He's a human being who got crushed by his ex. J-Lo, clearly A-Rod was publicly really hurt by this. What type of pieces of shit scream that at another grown man? Is that dirtbag behavior, or am I being too sensitive?
It's dirtbag behavior of the highest regard because he's a real person, number one.
Yeah.
He's a public figure, so you have to understand you're going to get
You're gonna
more.
get it,
That
but-
comes to territory. A-Rod expects that and accepts that. But when you start crossing lines, personal family boundaries, like Rich said, that was his family. That's too personal, where you're a scumbag. There's nothing to be said about that. Is there still a funny there? Yeah, it's funny that someone could be such a jerk off.
Yeah, I laugh, so I'm guilty of laughing. But when you hear that, I'm curious. I want to read the feedback. What is your first instinct?
I see the funny, but
Is
I
your
would
first-
never do that. I would never do that.
Is your first instinct, yo, that's hilarious, but I ask you, is your second instinct,
Well,
that guy's a piece of shit?
I'm an A-Rod supporter. I like Alex Rodriguez. So my first instinct is going to be, that's funny. These are Boston fans. They're getting rowdy. But in reality, he's a scumbag. I would never do that in my drunkest moment. So why would I condone that?
It takes a certain type of person to like outwardly do these sort of things.
Know what it reminds me of,
It's
Spot?
the same type of people who like go to picket lines. I'm like, what are you doing?
No. Know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of a story very close to home. When you say, who's the type of lowlife that is going to that level where they're screaming at A-Rod 10 feet from him, J-Lo, how do you like Ben Affleck?
That's called he's crowd pleasing.
It's like loser behavior.
Like, oh, his buddy's like, yeah.
No, but
I'm sure if A-Rod went up to him, he'd be like,
yo, bro, I'm a big fan.
Yeah.
Will you sign this ball for me?
Exactly. He's Alex Rodriguez. He's bigger than life in a lot of ways. But in a lot of ways, he's still a person. So if he steps out of that booth, that guy's, pardon the expression, sucking his dick. Hey, Alex, man, I'm a big fan. Boo! Spot's so right. That guy achieved so much in his career and in his life that you can only marvel at. Like, man, even if you hated him as a ball player, man, that's Alex Rodriguez. Yeah. I'm not saying that you should put him on a pedestal because of his celebrity. I'm just saying as a sports fan, that's what these guys are. They would be taken back. That, oh my God, they just want his attention, man. That's all.
You know what I would say? Oh yeah, well at least I fucked J-Lo. Who did you fuck?
Yeah. But Spot, there was a guy.
That's what I would say.
I'm not going to ask you to find the.
Goes back to Jared Goff.
I'm not going to ask you to find this clip because he
still lived his dream.
There's more than one example, and it's probably not easy to find. But you see this happen sometimes. There'll be a player in the on-deck circle, and fans sitting close up will start taunting, like, yeah, fuck you, you suck. And
ribbing's still a part of it.
Sometimes the
ribbing's
players,
not a part of it.
sometimes the players talk back and they're like, yeah, well, I got tens of millions of dollars and you don't. Beat it. Like, I've seen a couple players that were funny.
Like with Wild Thing Rick Vaughn, remember that?
Great example, Spot.
No, well, here's why I had this realization recently is I was talking to my buddy, his name's Mike Bonnick, and my buddy Sean the Lawyer. And we played this clip years ago, probably Maxim Radio days.
Yeah.
My buddy Mike lived in Florida, and he was at a spring training game, and he badgered the fuck out of somebody. And we played the clip because back then we thought it was funny. Like, look how he harassed this guy.
Maybe it's a maturity thing.
And it's a maturity thing. And then my buddy Mike, we recently brought that up, and he said, I gotta be honest, man. One of the biggest regrets of my life. He goes, I feel so bad that I did that to another grown man. And here's this guy. He goes, he looked on every social media platform to find him just to get it off his chest to apologize. He's like, not my proudest moment, I'm not gonna lie. Because we brought it up, like, yeah, remember when, I'm drawing a blank on who it was, but he lives with that regret till this day. He's a grown-up, he's a dad now, right? He's like, why did I fucking humiliate this guy and put it on camera and do everything I could to antagonize this dude who's just playing baseball?
I remember that. I remember we played the video. There was some guy,
Jeff Bannister or something, like someone random.
Someone was walking into the stadium, or right? Wasn't it like a
Dan
spring?
Ugla. Look what he wrote. I said, who was it? Dan Ugla. And again, not my brightest moment.
Wasn't it spring training or something where he was like, Dan Ugla, you motherfucker. And he started going off on him.
What did you say to him? ?
Good voice to text.
So the point is, we've all lived it. I'm not above it. I have jerk-off friends that would scream things like this to opposing players. But you get to a point in life where you realize, I got proof right here. My buddy Mike was the biggest ball buster. He's a New York guy. Dan Ugla, you fucking suck. Your mother's a whore, Ugla.
Oh.
Dan Ugla rose above it. Fucking probably told him, hey, man, what's your deal? I forget what it was.
You're a grown man.
You're a grown man. And he wants to now apologize
to Dan Ugla
for the way he treated Dan Ugla. So this guy, if he ever has a realization, he'll understand that what he did to A-Rod is, it's funny, kind of, because he's A-Rod. And A-Rod's probably immune to a lot of things. But it's not a good look. It just isn't.
Like Lisa said, forget him being Alex Rodriguez. He's a human being. Class it up.
Yeah.
Class it up.
But again, being A-Rod comes with a lot.
I mean, I never understood.
Here's the again, this realization. This is a real story.
Yeah.
And we shared it way back in the early 2000s.
I remember.
Look at my buddy. He had this footage. He's badgering Dan Ugla. He had made 3 errors in the All-Star game at Yankee Stadium the year prior, and I was merciless. I'm totally serious. That one day, I will make it right by him, either with an apology or something.
Ask him what made him change his mind. I'm curious.
Good one.
Yeah. Because I'll tell you what it is, Spot.
What made you change your mind, man?
He
Realization that you were wrong? ?
is a responsible grown-up.
He had kids. He became a school teacher.
Is a teacher and a dad. And he's
Yeah.
like, what type of loser was
But
I
he
yelling at
went-
another grown man?
Ugla. Like he was relentless. Like, I mean, we've all seen this before.
Yeah.
But there will be a time where it's brought up and you're reminded and you're like, yeah, I was just drunk. I'm sorry about that. And if A-Rod was to say, hey, what's your, because he talks with the what's your problem?
What's your problem?
He'd be like, oh man, I'm just breaking balls, A-Rod.
I'm sorry, I didn't realize, you're a human who lost a woman he loved, and I'm just some doofus. Yeah. Well, it made me think of a real life scenario I was talking about, how people do and say things, and when later analyzed, you realize, what did I do or say? I think about you when you worked at K-Rock, New York. There was a grown man that was like, I hate K-Rock. He pulled down his pants and shit on the K-Rock van.
Yeah.
Where is that guy today?
I would love to know where that guy is.
He's probably high-fiving somebody
Do you
about it
think?
still.
Do you think he's telling the story of like
Remember that time I shit on a van?
Like there were these like people that just worked for a radio station because it was their job, and I yelled at them and shit on a van.
And he looked at me in a demonic way, and he probably feels bad about it. But then he's over it. He doesn't care about me. All right, here's the feedback again.
Yeah.
And what did I say? It's a crowd-pleasing move, right? His buddy's like, yo, man, Biff, you're crazy, bro, calling A-Rod out like that. Biff. Oh, bro, you're the best. He goes, my buddy who was, again, harassing Dan Ugla,
Of all people.
a former All-Star. He goes, I chalk it up to no sleep. Here's his justification. He goes, we just had our first kid, and to make matters worse, my buddy Sean was in town. So he's trying to crowd please with Sean. Like, Sean, watch this.
Crowd, please.
Should have been a better host. And that's really it. Yeah, that's really it. But again, not his proudest moment, to the point where he brought it up recently and said he's gone out of his way to try to apologize. Although it probably, like, Dan Ugla was like, I don't give a fuck. I don't even know what you're talking about. I don't remember you.
But you know what?
I don't remember
you
you.
accept those apologies because that's a step in recovery. Jay hit us up with that. And I'm not saying it's the same as being an addict, but have you ever had a friend from your past or someone hit you up and say, hey, man, I just want to apologize for such and such, and you know what the reality is, that they're going through their steps.
I've had that, but I've also had friends apologize to me for like being sort of a dick when we were growing up, and I'm like, I don't, I kind of know what you're talking about.
It is what
But I really like, yeah, man, it's all good. But then it dawned on me, I'm like, are you talking about like shit like you said about me behind my back or something? Because I really don't know what you're talking about. Like, I never really liked you.
I think a lot of times when people go through their recovery programs, you might be talking, it might be someone that was dealing with drugs or alcohol, and one of the big steps is getting that off your chest and apologizing to the people you hurt along the way.
Well, again, I'm not saying that I'm above a good badgering and a good laugh about it. There's just a line and a tastefulness that you don't cross as a fan sometimes. And I think they crossed that with A-Rod yesterday. And that's no knock on the Red Sox fans. Yankee fans are no better. And I'm sure if you're drunk, it could be funny in that moment. But I think there's a little bit of regret that comes with that stuff if you're a good person deep down.
I think when you have those young drunk...
So it's counterproductive to you.
Yeah, when you have those young, drunk, stupid moments, you're right. And a lot of it has to do with, as you said, quote, crowd pleasing.
Crowd pleasing.
You're with a group of people, you're trying to be like, oh, I'm going to do something cool to make everyone laugh. Because that's what guys do when they're being dumb together.
Yeah, and it's funny. But I was never in my drunkest moment that guy. No. So I can't really defend it all that much.
Here's a great example, because I could see this happening and being funny in the moment and him trying to be a crowd pleaser. Patrick, one of our listeners, hit us up, said he arm wrestled a homeless guy once outside of Burger King when he was 21 and said, hey, I'll arm wrestle you. You win, I'll give you $100. If I win, I get your cup of change. He won and he took the hobo's cup of change. And looking back, he's like, what a dirtbag move. But he's like, at the time,
okay. Like you said,
at
Rich,
the time, crowd pleasing.
If you not, that's part of growing up, part of learning. My buddy Mike, who harassed Dan Ugla, said one more thing. He said, what made me realize my fault is I became a father and I wouldn't want anyone to treat my kids like that at any age. No one should be the subject to ridicule the ridicule that I was spewing that day. And it's coming of age, really. That's all it is. And for fun, you want to hear Sean's voice? Because he left a voice. I don't even know what he's going to say. But do you want to hear it?
I do.
He's not going to say anything bad. He's such a nice guy. I'm taking a chance, but let's see what he says.
This is one of my favorite stories. I remember it every now and then. I probably told it a bunch of times, too. But Mike and I were around 57th Street, and we see Geraldo with some dude. I didn't recognize him. Mike recognized him right away. And he says, I dare you, or I bet you won't go over to Geraldo and say this.
I don't know.
Say it.
Probably 19 or 20. I go, hey, Geraldo, what's up? How you doing? I think I extend my hand, shake his hand. And then in a serious manner, I look at him and I go, what were you thinking with Al Capone? And then Geraldo, his reaction, he just threw back his head. He started laughing. And he goes, man, that was before you were born. And then we all had a laugh about it.
Geraldo. That's Geraldo.
Okay, but I think that's in good fun, right? Like, that's a funny story. Geraldo Rivera.
Yeah.
You know, that's like his embarrassing moment. It was brought up. Sometimes you just don't want to hear it. You know, that made me think of that reporter, that Canadian reporter that brought up that shit to Mike Tyson. Remember? Why you're just a prick.
Spock, can you play that clip? That's one of my favorites of all.
Why would you do that?
That's one of my favorite clips of all time.
No one wants to talk about their most embarrassing moments, but it seemed like Geraldo Rivera was a good sport there.
What about Jim Gray, who's a great broadcaster? When Jim Gray was harassing Pete Rose about gambling, it was like everyone's like, what are you doing?
So Sean's point here was there's a better way to do it than he said when he did it with Geraldo loved it. Like, if you do it in a playful way, you know, that's the badgering that comes with being a celebrity. Like, okay, I guess I'll never live that down.
I'm glad I called that guy. Yeah, right. Sometimes they may murder you if you don't. Pay up, Hobo Cop. Yeah, did Patrick arm wrestle Hobo Cop?
You love it. And you know you love it.
You love it.
Hobo Williams. All right, so
the clip of Mike Tyson cursing on television because, well, this stupid Canadian reporter thought, oh, this is my moment to bring up the fact that Mike Tyson was at one point convicted of rape.
You're a prick. You
like,
know
why
that?
would you say that?
Fuck you.
Now it's not the time.
It's so interesting that you come across like a nice guy, but you're really a piece of shit. Hey, with that comment. Come on. Nah, that was a piece of fuck you. That was a piece of shit. You know, we're doing live TV. And I don't care. What are you gonna do about it? Right.
That's my favorite line. What you gonna do about it? What are you gonna do?
Out of nowhere, it's years and years removed. He asked him about his rape allegations, and I get it. It's never gonna go away. But you're looking for the soundbite.
Hey, Mike, we're on live TV. Yeah, I don't care. What are you going to do?
And that's also part of the world we live in. People are looking for you to react. People are looking for the viral video. People are looking for the soundbite. So, I mean, Alex Rodriguez, whoever, Dan Ugla, random example, they have to be above it.
Dan Ugla.
I don't even, dude.
I know it's because you've had the errors, but still,
yeah,
it's like of all people.
Alex Berman said the Geraldo Rivera interaction was a good one. He probably enjoyed it. Yeah, that's the final words from Sean the lawyer.
If you do it in a joking way, right. I get that.
Yeah. So
like, come on, Geraldo. What was with the like? It's not like he came out and like that was the worst piece of television I ever saw.
It's presentation spot.
Yeah. That's exactly it. And that sounds like a move that my buddy would have made and got a good laugh out of it. That's just breaking balls, right? Yeah. The other shit is just mean.
Right.
There's that fine line. Like, Geraldo breaking balls. Dan Ugla, A-Rod,
like Boston,
kind of.
Boston probably thinks he's being funny. Like he thinks he's like, yeah, fucking. How do you like them apples?
Yeah, that was kind of funny to be honest. That part, that was the crafty part of it.
It was really funny.
That was kind of funny.
To me, it was funny, but like, yeah, he thinks he's being funny, and like his other Boston people are gonna be like, yeah, you got him, wicked.
You know what's funny. Part of it too? I'm not trying to be a softy pants. The shit is fresh. It's kind of fresh still. So I think that's also part of it.
Yeah. By the way, Alex brings up a good one. I'm loving the feedback. Love when you guys chime in.
Alex Efforts?
412, the letters C in our show, or at Covino and Rich on the chat. Alex said, some older punk stole his skateboard when he was in 5th grade.
What?
This is really funny. 15 years later, he saw me at a grocery store and gave me $100 and apologized for doing it now that he's found God.
Wow.
God always does it.
Hey, Alex, thanks for sharing.
I mean, that's, I'm trying to think, is there anyone from your past that you feel like you'd want to pull a Billy Madison with?
No.
I'm really sorry. Back in the day, I made fun of you and all. Don't worry, no problem. Steve Buscemi crosses him off the kill list. Is there anyone where you'd want to go back and say, yeah, there's one kid. I did not lead the charge, but there was some fat kid with a really high-pitched voice in my high school.
Funny though, I'm not gonna lie.
Like he was a really big kid, right? Who's Kelly Clarkson? And honestly, he sort of looked and sounded high-pitched Eric-like, where he was a big guy.
Yeah.
And his voice was like this.
Was it like The Rock in Central Intelligence?
I hated high pitch Eric. I mean, I wish him well, and I've known him for a long time.
He was always nice to me.
In my come up at K-Rock, New York. But you know what high pitch Eric really was? He's what the radio industry calls a prize pig. That's what he was, and he became a Howard Stern whack packer. He was a prize pig, meaning wherever the station vehicles were, he was there for the freebies, trying to win prizes. He was a prize pig. He was at every event just trying to get free shit. That's what he was, and he was next level.
Was this the guy you went to high school with?
Yeah.
Did you ever see this scene? And there's Rich. Did you ever see this movie?
I think I have. Is this the one with him and the Chris Rock?
No,
Chris Rock,
Kevin Hart. Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen it.
You know what this is a great indicator of,
There's
Rich?
Rich.
How much you've grown.
Yeah.
Because if you have no remorse
God, sorry.
on how you behaved, then you really didn't evolve much. Because now my buddy Mike is asking Sean, hey, did you ever take that video off YouTube? Because he wants no evidence of that sort of behavior.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's like, how much have you grown? Everybody, look, I'm not judging anybody. I'm just saying it's not a good look.
The fat kid that had the high-pitched voice?
Yeah.
A bunch of the Guido dudes that I went to high school with. Because, I grew up in a very Italian neighborhood. I was the one non-super Italian guy. Mm-hmm. And everyone called this dude Beaker.
Mm-hmm.
But
big nose?
No, Beaker. Like, me. Like, he sounded like a Muppet. He was a big fat kid.
You look more like Beaker than this guy.
Got a long head.
Yeah.
And I think so I'm glad you didn't go to my high school.
Oh my God.
He
would have destroyed you.
Oh, no way. We were playful. You had to take a ribbon.
You said playful.
Yeah.
And the kids that you think that were playful.
Calling someone that they look like a Muppet is
You know what
mean?
I think? You know what I want you to do?
I think it is. I think what you thought was playful.
Covino, you know what I want you to do?
Yeah.
I want you to find the kid that you made float down the entire river and wouldn't let him on the boat.
That wasn't me.
I want you to find him. But you left. You sat there and you left.
Yeah, he listens to our show.
What's
up, Doug?
I want you to apologize to him right now.
No, that had nothing to do with it.
You left.
Well, maybe he doesn't take accountability.
You didn't help him.
I don't take any accountability.
You're no better than the people that...
While you are talking about your buddy apologizing to Dan Ugla and all these people...
Nothing to do with it.
All these people...
I want you to
saying
apologize
or doing things that they probably regret. Covino,
to Pee Wee Lee.
Covino,
you had to survive in those waters, pun intended.
Covino thinks
Little Tim Campy Wong. I want you to apologize to him.
You think
Timmy Wong? I made him famous. That was a great name.
You think
Little Tim Campy Wong?
You
he had a song and everything. Little Tim Campy Wong. That shit was great.
You think all the kids you made fun of because you gave them cool nicknames, you were not? It was not. They loved it.
Yeah.
You think the little foreign kid who you made fun of and gave a nickname, he was like, man, I'm really glad Covino came to my side.
Yeah, because I led with kindness. That was like, when in dating you neg a girl, like I was just leading with kindness, being their friend. That's all. I was just being their friend. I was never being mean about any of that
So
shit.
if you made a funny nickname for the exchange student and teased him, that was all in good fun.
Mm-hmm. You think I was able to read the room?
Yeah, but you think he or she loved it?
Yep.
Okay, I'll take your word for it.
Everybody
But
had a
I
nickname.
bet you they may have a different memory of it.
Definitely not. You ask anyone in my hometown, they'll say I'm one of the nicest dudes in town.
Yeah, but the
Guaranteed.
I know, but I'm just saying the kids that got picked on would probably.
I didn't pick on people. This is your narrative. I'm telling you, I didn't.
Yeah, how do you know? Did they?
You could ask anybody I grew up with.
All right, listen. I'm just saying. Do you think? Okay, I guess I'm gonna have to take your word for it. I just feel like
I never
kids that got
picked on anybody. Period. Ever in my life. Ever. It was never in me. It was all in good fun.
Except for the kid that wouldn't get on the boat.
He's still my friend. That was his thing. Like I said, my friends were ruthless, dude. So you had to survive on your own. I was surviving.
Yeah, what would explain your inability to take
because
a joke
I was
now?
always that. I didn't take it then. So why would I take it now?
No, but why are you the
That's
guy
how
that's
I
why are you the guy
survived.
Is that like your thing
Yeah,
of
I'm
like,
like,
I'm just
I don't
not
play
gonna be
that
fun
shit.
about it?
Yeah, I don't play. Yeah, that's cool.
You know what it is? You know what it is? Who said that? I'm Key. Made a good point.
I failed recess.
Your stories through today's eyes sound like bullying, even though back then it was all just good fun.
It wasn't. It wasn't. Calling little Tim can't be Wong. That's making fun of him.
How do you know he liked it?
Because he would fucking laugh. He was my friend.
Yeah, he
But you said, for instance, there was a
he
kid
laughed
with
to hide the tears.
you said there was a kid with a huge head that you're like, yo, bonk. Everyone call this guy bonk. You called him bonk because he had a big head.
Yeah.
You think that kid's like, man, I love that Covino calls me bonk. You really think that?
No one even knows what bonk is. It was for TurboGrafx 16. It
But
was
you
a game,
think he
right?
loved being called bonk?
I think
Like,
it was a
man,
game.
I'm really glad Covino gave me the nickname bonk. You think he loves that?
He was the only kid in school with a bigger head than me, probably. I earned that.
Okay.
Yes. Yes. It made him famous. Bonk it was his fucking football name.
Typical bully behavior. They're the ones that can't take the joke.
No, I know my reputation. This is your own
surprised you
narrative
didn't
that's
call Rich
completely false. I know my reputation.
But you think
I went to school with fucking some real jerk-offs. I was like the nicest kid in town. So there's Bonk.
We should start calling Rich Bonk.
Bonk had a big head because he would bash shit with his head. That's what he did. Bonk.
Man, I'm really glad Covino calls me bonk. Thanks, buddy.
I mean, now we're taking this conversation to a real softy pants level.
I agree, but I'm just saying. All right. Bonk. Cross that off.
Bonk.
So the A-Rod stuff.
Yeah, what are you going to do? It's dirtbag behavior, but
I get it. I mean, fans are going to be fans. And I'm sure A-Rod gets it too. But he'd probably choke that guy.
I'm going to give you 3 people.
If he wasn't working.
I'm going to give you 3 people. And I want you to put them in age order for me. Can you do that?
Is this the age game?
It's not the age game. It's not
Is
the
it the
age
birthday game, I mean?
No, I'm just giving you 3 people that are roughly the same age, and I'm curious who you think is oldest.
Go.
Actually, I'll give you more than 3.
Yo, J-Bots, if you think I was a bully, you would have been murdered with the kids I grew up with. You'd still be hanging somewhere on your chonies on a fence.
So sensitive.
No, I'm serious because like you're so far off the mark. I'm not. They're sensitive. I'm sensitive. I'm telling you the truth. I'm telling you the truth.
Four people I'll give you. Spot. Trey Parker, South Park creator.
Okay.
Ty Pennington,
Okay.
Jon Favreau, and Chris Kattan.
Chris Kattan's the oldest.
Yes. Then Ty Pennington.
So
Then-
who do you think the oldest is?
Kattan.
Okay.
Then Pennington.
Then Pennington. Then Favreau.
Agree with your
No.
spot. No, I agree. I was going to say that.
So
No,
go
then
go,
Favreau,
go
then-
youngest to oldest.
All right. So Parker,
Parker's the youngest.
Favreau,
Okay.
then Pennington,
Yeah.
then Kattan.
I know Pennington's a little older though. We talked about him recently, but that I'm sticking with that.
So you think
Same.
you think Ty Pennington,
I think
home
that
improvement legend.
he might be the oldest.
Okay, you're
but
right. You're absolutely right. He is the oldest.
Okay.
57.
Okay,
Oh,
then
okay.
Kattan, then Favreau, then Parker.
Parker's the youngest. You guys are both right about that. He's 52. Favreau, 55.
Right.
Chris Kattan, the youngest, 51.
Oh wow, really?
That was that's why
Mango.
I bring it up because that threw me for a loop. I'm like 51.
Mango.
I agree. I think
He got a tough break, but he was in an accident, right? And I don't know, it was never the same again or something like that. But I always thought Chris Kattan was funny. I like Chris Kattan, but you see where Will Ferrell's career went and where Chris Kattan's went, man, there's got to be some resentment there. At least I think so.
Well,
But I always thought Chris
Corky
Kattan was
Romano
funny.
really did him in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I thought he was a funny guy. So, it's their birthday?
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, guys. Happy birthday.
Jon Favreau.
Someone hit us up yesterday on our social media pages, speaking of Jon Favreau. They're like, yo, finally getting around to watching Swingers. This shit is boring.
I can
It's
see
like,
that.
hey, well, fucking...
You should have watched it in 1990.
Yeah.
You should have watched it in 1995.
Sorry,
or 4
it
or
came out in
whatever.
96, jerk off.
96?
Maybe that's on you. Like, I think there's certain accountability that you have to take.
Could I tell you that's
yeah,
why
I guess I'm a little late. Like, no, you're a lot late.
That's why all right, so when I tried to watch the Star Wars movies, I love Mandalorian, by the way. You know me. Mando. But when I watch the original Star Wars movies and I'm like, guys, I don't really find them that awesome. I follow that up with I know it's me because I can't expect to watch Star Wars 40-something years later and be like, yo, it hits the same. Very few movies hit the same, so I'll take accountability.
And Swingers was such a timely
movie.
movie.
This guy has to realize, yeah, Swingers is not going to hit the same way now, 25 years later.
You're not going to understand the vibe because
exactly
that whole, it's like that LA swing, that whole scene is just bizarre.
And we would still enjoy it now for nostalgic reasons because of where you were when you saw it. But yeah, I could see it's a slower moving movie. It's about a breakup. It's about heartbreak. It's not the
greatest movie. Let's be honest.
Not going to stand the test of time. It was a cult classic.
It's a cult classic. It was a very specific timepiece. Meaning, I agree. Outside of the mid '90s, late
Reinhardt,
90s,
the third. Carl Reinhardt.
By the way, how old Carl Reinhardt is?
Mr. Reinhardt was my first gym teacher in kindergarten.
I think spot on. Imagine even if he's 30, 40 years old, whatever. I'm saying, watching a movie that was so in the moment, like Swingers. You know, how, Covino, you love to bring up. The more stylish you are, the more out of style you will eventually look.
The faster you become out of style.
Yeah, I think that goes the
styles
same
come and go.
with movies. Swingers was so in that moment awesome that I think it's going to feel more outdated because it was so.
But it's such a timepiece that
90s, like the voicemail, the phone call, the hey yo, call her in 3 days. You're so money. The fucking baby, the claws, like every little
lingo.
scene.
Yeah, it says, have never seen Swingers before. Seen it. And was trying to watch it, kind of boring. And Mellow Fellow and a lot of people were like, "Come on, bro, no way! This shit is money. You don't even know it."
Yeah, but I agree with them. If you watch it now for the first time, it would be like trying to watch Star Wars or some movie like that for the first time. It's never gonna hit.
You notice
the same.
equivalent? It reminds me of like a Kevin Smith movie from the '90s.
Yeah,
like those Kevin Smith movies.
I love them all, Spot, but if I tried to watch Mallrats now, I'd probably be like, man,
that's on Carl. That's on Carl, dude. You should have watched it in 90-something. It's 2021,
Clerks,
bro.
Chasing Amy, all those movies.
Yeah, I watched Chasing Amy recently, and I'm like,
it's 2021.
This movie's kind of boring.
Look at my dad. My dad's chiming in. Night at the Roxbury. I watched it last night.
That's your mom.
Like, what are the chances? I'm not surprised, actually. So, yeah, happy birthday, Chris Kattan, Night at the Roxbury. Jon Favreau. Coincidentally, Carl Reinhardt happened to watch it. Swingers, a classic.
It just it doesn't hit the same. I think. Agreed. Michael E. If you miss the boat on certain movies, they just will never deliver the same way.
You know why? Because they're dialogue movies.
Yeah,
And dialogue movies from the '90s are boring.
3 days to call someone. I agree with Lisa. Now it's like 3 minutes, or you miss out to the next person.
Yeah, it's a different time, different movie.
Jen,
you missed it.
Jen, Mallrats was probably my favorite Kevin Smith movie back then. I watched it over the last few years.
Mallrats is funny.
It was funny, Spot, but
it's zany.
When I watched it, it wasn't. There was a time in my life where I probably would have said Mallrats is the top 5 for me. Like, I love the shit out of that in that moment. Mallrats now, I don't think I'd really want to watch it.
Sweet suds, Mr. Zadir. All right, so shout out to Steve and Doug Butabi.
Did you grab my ass?
You wanted to.
It's okay if you did.
Moving on. This is a wild story.
I feel like there's something there, though. Hold on. Movies
it's on Carl. Carl's saying, dude, I'm watching Swingers. Sucks. Yeah, bro. Yo, that shit's almost 30 years old.
I got a question.
Yo, that's on you, not on the movie at this point.
I got a similar question that I think would be the perfect time to pose it based on you bringing up Carl Reinhardt.
But shout out to Carl.
Shout out to Wes and Jen and Mike Wheeler and Greg and everyone watching right now and checking us out. My buddy, Ron Ross, the guy that does the morning show on The Pulse, they do a group text message on The Pulse every day, which I don't mind. It's, to be honest, more organized than any radio station I've ever worked at. And I'm only on that channel like 3 hours a night.
I bet you Karen Carson brings the heat.
No, you know who's really fucking funny? Like top tier funny? One of the funniest women I know is Kim Ashley. And on the radio, she's just real composed and chill. Like, hey, Kim Ashley on The Pulse. Fucking hilarious. So there's a little Pulse group chat, and every day they sort of give a couple tidbits. What did they talk about? So that if other hosts on that channel want to mention it or maybe not repeat the same shit. So Ron Ross this morning was like, hey, just so you guys know.
So basically, this is prep for Rich.
Well, that's what it's designed for.
I know. Okay.
No, it's designed for like, hey, here's what I talked about. So if you want to mention it on your show, or hey, I talked about this shit a lot, so maybe you don't want to talk about it nonstop because I did. Mm-hmm. And to be honest, I think every channel should do it because I think Most people stink.
I'm good on that.
No one's talking about what you're talking about.
Nothing. I don't want to hear
Never.
about what they're talking about.
Who else is on Turbo?
Well, I wasn't, trying to be personal about it.
I was just going to be
No, because other people are like, hey, if you want to catch System of a Down, they're
Right.
touring again somewhere. Covino's like, yeah, A-Rod was getting jeered last night at the game. These nuts, the Turbo. Like, yeah, you're doing more topical stuff. The other hosts are doing more music stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Which
And that's what
I prefer your style.
I'm
to be
meant
honest.
to do. Yeah. They
I
want me to
prefer
do that.
your
so.
style. By the way, not saying you and I are alike in our presentation, but as far as content, you and I are very alike because even on the pop channels, I'm the one mentioning like, yo, at least you're not Josh Allen this morning. And I feel like everyone else is like, go to the app, do this, do that. Concert dates, 21 Pilots.
How's your crusade to get rid of coming up? Remember how they told you couldn't say coming up anymore?
Bro, I'm like so on point with this. It's hilarious. I'm like, my Turbo Magic 8-Ball tells me maybe some Godsmack. Stick around.
If you missed that episode,
My Turbo Magic.
if you missed that episode, Covino said that the boss on the rock side said, let's avoid using the phrase coming up. Like coming up.
So I made a whole list.
Yeah. Covino used to say, and
The
we all do.
Turbo Magic
Covino would say shit like, all right, coming up, I got some Alice in Chains coming up. Yeah. So no more coming up. You're improvising.
I will actually here, Spot, since you asked. I made a list per the recommendation of my advisor, right? I deleted it.
What do you delete shit for?
To clear space up. I don't always delete it,
No.
but like I'm on a fucking plane for
What
a
do you
few
got,
hours.
what
I'm
do-
like, I don't need 18,000 group
do you
text
got,
messages
you have an iPhone
from
3?
Rob Ross.
you got an 8 megabyte hard drive on that
Yeah.
thing?
What do you? I can't imagine having to delete anything.
I don't delete like important shit, but I just did it recently actually.
I am reaching. I have a lot of photos and videos on my phone. I am reaching end of life.
Yeah,
on my
like
phone.
what do I need that for? Why do you ask me the same question?
For reference,
the
because
time.
this happens quite a bit where you're like, oh
I
man,
don't-
I'm looking, I deleted it.
I might get the terabyte
No,
iPhone.
because I get aggravated when my dad does that. Hey, I deleted it. I'm like, well, stop
delete
deleting
what?
this shit.
Why
That's
delete?
not what's going on here. I'm deleting like group messages and shit like that. And like, who needs
Yeah,
that?
the only thing I delete is like the group text between me, you, and Vic in Toronto.
That's always it.
Because I feel like it's just long and has pictures and a lot of stuff, so it's always taking up shit.
Yeah.
All right. So here was the Ron Ross Pulse question of the day. So I participated. I was like, I got one for you. What scary movie, being that it's Halloween season, and I told you the Freddy Krueger, Nightmare on Elm Street, movies that made us on Netflix is great. What scary movie?
I watched it. It was I
thought it was, you're in the Halloween spirit. I thought it was good. I love that Robert Englund
I'm in the
does.
spirit of Halloween.
Don't you feel like Robert Englund?
You take over any abandoned store.
Yeah.
I love it. I love how he owns the horror genre.
Coming to a Circuit City near you. Covina.
Imagine there being a
You know what
documentary
I thought
about
they were off on? At the end of, and we're talking about movies that made us, Nightmare on Elm Street. Rich talked about it yesterday. They say that the ending when Freddy Krueger yanks the mom into the house, was like the weakest shit ever. As a kid,
I thought it was cool.
That was scary.
They're saying the effects were so bad. Spot,
But as a kid, I thought that shit was scary as hell.
Not to give away too much, but Wes Craven came up with like 5 endings, and they couldn't decide what ending because they're like, we want to make a sequel because if it's good, we want to be able to.
But they were critical
continue
that it looked like a dummy, and it was a dummy. And it looked so fake,
see
it was stupid.
see
But
how
I
bad it
thought
looks?
that shit was scary as hell as a kid.
Spot, see on YouTube the scene of the mom
Everybody knows.
being
the last
pulled in the
scene.
window when she's waving goodbye to the kids in the car at the end of Nightmare on Elm Street. Wes Craven, was he the one that was like, that's the scene? Like one of the people wanted the window and the mom, and everyone else was like, no.
There was a lot of debating. I forget who wanted what, but like Rich said, there was all these alternate versions.
There was one where Freddy's in the car. There's all these different versions. But the question I'm going to pose to you is from Ron, and then I got a different one too. What scary movie does not hold up and it's just actually bad now? Like technology has changed. What scares you has changed. Like what's a scary movie that does not hold up
I don't think I could watch Child's Play and be scared like I was as a kid.
So funny you would say that. I said the
Give
spot.
me the power, I beg of you.
I said
It
the
was,
spot.
but it was always
But it was
cheesy.
dope.
It was always cheesy, scary.
Yeah,
like,
but as a kid, I think it actually scared
well,
me.
there's a new series now. Did you
Yeah,
know?
The little Chucky doll.
If you take it for what it is, it's still
Critters. What about Gremlins? Would you be like, oh, this is fucking silly?
like any of that shit.
But I think that's a good question that Ron posed. But I think the better question is, oh yeah, Spot. Here's the
There's
scene.
Johnny Depp.
They thought it was awful. I'm a Covino. I like it.
Hey, I'm not doing it.
As a kid, it scared the fuck out of me. I got chills watching it.
It's creepy kids singing.
That's great. Yeah. It's awesome. I love
me
it.
too. I love it.
I loved it. They criticized it. Thought it was great. Now, I'm not, I get it. Spot's absolutely right,
Yeah.
though. The Child's Play series has scared us as kids a little bit.
Yeah, because you were
It was
like,
always
oh,
supposed to be
what if I
sort
have
of
a doll?
like cheeky kind of, because Chucky
Yeah.
was,
Right.
he would have these like zingers and everything. I get it. I'm just saying, I don't think it, I know there's an audience for it.
What
but
horror
for me
movie?
personally,
Like, you know, is the worst horror movie of the 90s? Leprechaun. Have you ever watched Leprechaun?
leprechaun. Look at me. I'm the leprechaun.
a young Jen Aniston in
Yeah, I'm good on that.
Leprechaun.
Yeah. I think the better question that you could pose is, what horror movie affected you for the rest of your life? Not scared you for the rest of your life, but my example would be, when I drive down a highway, I'll never get behind a truck with a bunch of logs on it because of Final Destination.
Definitely.
Like, and to me, like, Jaws changed the way how people were scared of the ocean and sharks. Like, before Jaws, our parents weren't little kids being like, I wonder if there's sharks out there. No one gave a fuck, apparently. Jaws changed the whole game. Those are the two that come to mind for me. Movies that, what about the idea of like when you're washing your face or brushing your teeth, when you look up in the mirror and you're like, I hope no one's behind me?
Based on horror movies.
Yeah. Like, what are the horror movie things that stuck with you? Not the cheesy ones. Bride of Chucky, wasn't that more of a comedy than a horror movie? Probably.
Yeah, that was even worse than the
It's
original.
probably like it's probably like silly, you know. I would say the Final Destinations hit me because they were like weird ways of dying. So like, you're right. Every time I see a truck with logs, or
How about anytime you're like in the middle of nowhere in some sort of cabin, it's just like you and your girlfriend, or like, you know, you can't help but think there's some dude with a chainsaw not too far away, or like a Jason roaming around the woods. You know, so those things, they infiltrate your brain because of the shit you saw. And you're like, fuck, I'm a loon.
Never know what lurks in the dark.
I love that. Is it a Geico commercial where they actually run into like the chainsaw? Like,
that looks like we should go there, right? Yeah.
Why can't we just get in the running car?
Yeah. That shit is pretty funny. They do a great job with those. Did you see the football NFL trick play one?
No.
Oh, it's a new one. It's pretty funny.
But the one you're speaking of, the horror one, looks great. Yeah.
Let's hide in the attic.
No, in the basement. Why can't we just get in the running car?
You crazy? Let's hide behind the chainsaws.
Okay.
If you're in a horror movie, you make poor decisions. That's what you do.
I'm being quiet. Breathing on me.
If you want to save 15% or more,
So, yeah,
Thank you,
that's-
Geico.
Thank you. That is
Hide in
funny.
the graveyard.
what you do.
You posed two questions. The first question that had effect on you, Pet Cemetery. It was just fucking scary to me at the time. I was surrounded by death at the time, so the whole vibe of it was very creepy for me personally, and really sort of left me like, oh, I felt ugly after watching that movie as a 14-year-old.
Steven Texas brings up a good question. Would you say Candyman in the mirror multiple times?
But then you posed the question
Would you?
of,
Go do it right now.
nah, I
Like,
probably wouldn't. Why would I summon the spirits?
The fake Candyman?
Yeah, I mean,
He won't do it. So it affected you.
It's my mom's theory. Remember when I was little, I told you I was saying, Om Nam Shivaya, Om Nam Shivaya, Om Nam Shivaya.
And your mom's like, what if you're summoning something?
Steven, stop it. You don't know what you're saying or doing.
devil.
And like, who knows
So
what
you're trying to tell me that you won't.
I'm not messing with the vibe.
You won't say Candyman in the mirror.
All right. I feel like when you are watching scary movies, you're welcoming these vibes
I'll say
into your home.
Beetlejuice.
You know, that's why there's that weird feeling. You're hearing every little thing in your house. You know, I'm good on that. I don't need to scare myself.
Beetlejuice.
Life is scary enough. These are fun movies. I get it. So you posed 2 questions. The first answer, Pet Sematary. Left the last thing like, what was the sister's name in that movie? That shit was scary. Pet Sematary. I don't recommend that movie. Scary. Second, lasting effect. I'm with you 100%. Final Destinations. You know, like you don't want to.
If you're on a plane and if you were on a plane and your seatback thing broke, would you be like, I'm out?
Yeah, because you don't want I don't drive behind anything dangerous looking, like Rich says. Like, all right, I want to get away from that.
Yeah, I don't mess with bad spirits. That's from Jason.
For sure. So you want me to go? Why don't you go do the Candyman thing later on? I'm good on that. I did that shit when I was little. I'm over that.
Candyman, how you?
I'm trying to have good vibes. I want to welcome good things.
Things that changed how you act because of the movie.
Because of the scary movie. Halloween time. I mean, going down into a basement. They talk about in the Freddy Krueger A Nightmare on Elm Street, they actually did the basement scenes in a prison. You know, all the pipes and the steamy pipes and shit. The dream sequences, I should say. You know, so anytime you would go into a basement, you're like, fuck that. It's more scary based on what you saw in movies.
You know what I remember?
You fucking scammer? Up the steps.
Scamper.
You don't want to be in a basement of anything. That's just scary.
You know what I remember being super creepy? And so I guess I can't make fun of you for the Candyman thing. We were driving in, was it rural Minnesota?
Yeah, remember we were in St. Olaf?
That is true. We were in the hometown of
Rose
Island.
St. Olaf.
So we were in the middle of nowhere on one of our Covino and Rich road trips. It was late at night. Some of you might remember because we were streaming live on Instagram or Facebook or something. We were doing a live stream. This was years ago.
Is it true you say Fudge Packer Man in the mirror every night?
Yeah.
Fudge Packer Man.
That's so dumb. Who said that?
In hopes that he comes?
Please call them out. Who said that?
That's Mauser.
In hopes that he comes.
That's Mauser's worst joke.
That's like his worst
He can't hit a home run every time.
No, it's so funny.
Wow, he failed. You know why? Too much time with Eddie or DJ.
Don't listen to them. That's funny as hell.
That was weak.
Eddie or DJ must have took a song.
Mauser is weak.
Weak.
So we were in the middle of a cornfield, and if I remember correctly, it must have been Instagram or Facebook Live, and we had people chipping in money. Like, all right, I'll put up $10. I'll put up $20. We had it to hundreds of dollars where our old associate producer, Jake, had to get out of the car and run into the cornfield and back. And he's like, fuck no. And I'm thinking to myself, looking back, on paper, why wouldn't you do it? You think there's a killer in the cornfield? But I don't think anyone is going to run in the middle of a cornfield in the pitch dark. You're just not going to do it. Would you? If I say
My dad used to do that to me as a kid. He forced me to walk into the swamp area by the Union Water Tower. And
Hey,
at
go
night,
over there.
yeah, at night though.
Let's see how tough you are.
Yeah, I'm like, fuck, that's just scary as hell. It's traumatizing. I'm good.
Is it true you ran through the cornfield backwards? Now that's funny.
Yeah, that's funny.
People have said a few good ones. Like, I guess arachnophobia is a.
My wife, because of that movie,
I actually
freaked her out. You too. That's right.
Yeah, I think it actually made me develop arachnophobia. I was never scared of spiders as a child. I now have a paralyzing fear of spiders.
What does that guy say about Tales from the Hood? Spot, go back up. Tales from the Hood. I love that movie. I think you should watch it. I think everybody.
He just said he saw it in the theaters and it was great.
Really? Tales from the Hood
at the dollar theaters back in the 90s. Great times. Yeah.
So great.
Let's see what else. Paranormal Activity. That was kind of frightening.
But what about that? Let's go back to when we were actually in Minnesota. When we were actually in the middle of cornfields in Minnesota on rural roads because we were looking for something, getting back to the main highway. And Jake or no one in the car would get out for money and run to the corn and back.
Oh, I was driving, so I couldn't do it.
And then I remember, Spot, do you remember you tapped on the window and scared the fuck out of me?
Yeah, someone banged. Was it me or was someone else? Someone in the car banged on the window,
and I jumped like a little bitch.
No, I think we did it from the
outside of the car. Yeah, like
outside of the car.
Like someone reached outside the car and tapped where my window was,
and a lot of people saw it because we were streaming at the time.
But none of us. So none of us can act all tough because no one in that car
not trying to
would have. No, I'm saying would have got out and ran into the cornfield, which is stupidly crazy because did we really think there was a murderer with a hacksaw or a chainsaw or a knife just sitting in the fucking corn? But no, it's creepy.
Yeah, but maybe the universe doesn't want you taking chances. Could have fell, tripped, corn stalk goes through your head. Like anything could happen.
The ring, like
Ringu.
I think I had a panic attack after I saw The Ring, and I don't never get panic attacks. There's something about that movie that really
good movie.
Psychologically fucked with my mind.
That's a good one.
Spot and I played the best prank ever.
Spot played the best prank ever. You were just there.
Wasn't I? Didn't I know you were doing it though?
No.
I'm pretty sure I knew you were doing it.
No.
I feel like I knew you were doing it.
You're making that up in your brain.
You're changing the story. You've told the story 15 times. Now you're changing it.
You had nothing to do with this. You were just there. It was your place.
This is 20 years ago. So to not remember the details clearly.
I do.
Is not peculiar. So
I can give you like all the details if you want.
No, go ahead then.
No, go.
I know because I clearly I don't remember the details. I thought that I knew it and everyone else was freaking out.
You didn't know, but
okay.
you were part of the freak out.
Okay, go ahead.
We were at your place. I remember this. It was one of your Jersey City apartments.
It's my first apartment. That's how I know how long ago this is. It was the first time I didn't live at my parents' house. I was 20 years old. I was 21.
The Ring was huge.
We're talking. This is when I say we've known each other so long now. We have fucking 20-year-old stories. Well, it's time to just fucking jump off a bridge.
Yeah, and you know, Mr. Edible here is forgetting things slowly but surely.
And
he told the story last year, but forgot it this year.
That's fine. I won't bring up anything from the past.
No, it's the fact that you forgot.
And I remember we were going to watch The Ring. And I specifically remember walking to the car because on that walk to and from the car, I was looking in my phone, my Samsung. It was like a silver Samsung's flip phone. And I remember looking in my phone to see how I can make my phone number not show up when I called. Like how to do the call walk.
Mm-hmm.
Get back on the DVD of The Ring. So we're all sitting around. I forget who was there. That I don't remember. I know you were there. I know your girl was there. Other people were there. We watched
our buddy Nico might have been there. Scary Jones.
I think this was pre-Nico.
I mean, with this
it's called Creco.
On the Ring DVD, because we watched on DVDs back then, they had the actual video that you would watch in The Ring that was supposed to say, you know, when you get the phone call 7 days.
Yeah, you watch. Apparently, if you don't know the premise of The Ring, the premise of The Ring is
you should know by now.
No, but some people don't.
I watched The Ring and it sucked.
Or they might not remember. If you watch The Ring, if you watch the video, your phone rings, and if you pick up the phone, they tell you that you're gonna die in like a week, right?
Right. It's 7 days, like a little voice. 7 days. And you watch the movie, freaks out. So we watched the video, and as we're doing it, like I dialed the number for Rich's home number when we had home numbers. I knew his home number, and I put it in the phone, all the numbers, and I had it like in between the couch cushions. And the second we watched the video, the second it ended, I just hit send, and just kept the phone in the couch cushions. So like the phone rang, and everybody freaked out,
and we picked it up. And we picked it up, and there was no one there.
No one there because the phone was in the couch.
And Spot played along. Spot played along. Like
what the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck?
And we're like, oh no! We watch Ringu.
7 days.
I revealed it was me. But that was good. That was fun times.
Oh man!
Play that prank with your friends.
Someone mentioned the Ouija board, and yeah, like
I've
Amityville Horror style, anything involving a Ouija board, I'm good on that.
I've messed with them.
You ever fiddle with Ouija boards?
Yeah, as a kid.
I feel like someone I know. It might even be my mother-in-law. And
I wouldn't want it now.
It might even be Sarah. Someone was like so anti it. Like don't.
You're not supposed to bring it in the house
it.
because apparently demons know the borders of your house.
It's wild. So I thought that was an interesting.
Did you ever do like little mini seances as a kid? Where you had to keep repeating like stiff as a board,
light as a feather, stiff as a board. That's different.
Stiff as a board,
light as a feather, stiff as a board is supposed to be like
yeah, but you're sort of like like pretend like you're dead or like.
I don't remember that at all. Thank God
clearly Spot did.
Thank God I didn't do that.
And the point is, like, you're supposed to get to a point where everyone lifts, and you could pick up the person like with ease with just like fingers, you know. And I remember doing that shit as kids. As kids, you do stupid things. As an adult,
picked up Barry. He's 130 pounds.
Yeah. But Barry is 120, so we were good. So, yeah, it's that time of the year. To back up what Rich is saying, A Nightmare on Elm Street, Halloween, on Netflix, the movies that made us.
Did you watch a Halloween one?
They feature those. No, I started the Coming to America, and I think I fell asleep. I don't think I finished it.
I started episode 1 last night of You and started dozing off, so I'm going to watch it tonight. Any interest, or are you not really that anxious?
100%. Yeah, I can't wait
but
to
you just
watch.
haven't. You're waiting for Jordan.
Jordan's out of town still because you and I are leaving.
Jordan.
So Rich and I are heading to Texas this weekend for a SXM
Actually,
event.
we keep saying this weekend. It's not
It's
the
Thursday,
weekend at all.
Friday.
It's
Thursday,
actually
Friday.
Thursday, Friday. Not even the
But
weekend.
I'm there till Saturday, so.
I found it funny. Tommy Hinton was like, "Hey, maybe you guys should do a get together with some of the listeners." And I said, "Yeah, I'm not opposed to that, but just so you know, we have a very tight schedule as far as we're not there long.
Yeah.
So Thursday night would probably be the night." And then he responded like, "All right, I'll see." And I'm like, "You'll see. You're the one that fucking asked me."
Shout out
I
to
love Tommy, but it was one of those like it would
he
be like
did say that.
it would be hey, Covino, what are you doing? I would love to see you Friday. And you're like,
I don't know, man. It's
you're
like
like,
Friday maybe, but my schedule's a little tight.
if you're like Friday, maybe I could do like an early dinner. And I'm like, oh, all right, slow down, I'll see.
That's true. It was kind of
And I'm like,
the vibe.
okay, like I'm just letting you know, if you're in the South Texas, New Braunfels, San Antonio, Austin, Schertz, Selma, San Marcos, if you're anywhere in that area, I would imagine Thursday night would be the really only time Covino and I could probably all get together at a bar and do something in Austin. We'll be partying on 6th Street. I'd imagine, Covino, when you're done doing what you're doing, you and I will grab a dinner and then maybe meet people for some drinks.
I'll see. I'm done at 8. So
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You and I will grab some food, tell people like 9, 10 o'clock or something.
Shout out to Luke Savage, too. Luke Savage was saying, hey, he wanted to meet up. So
Oh, yeah.
thank you,
Luke
guys.
Savage.
Shout out to Sam Sanchez, Paul. What's up, Paul D, and Jen Brown, and Alejandro Michael. Thank you guys for being here. Giving some shout outs. We will be there in Austin, so we'll keep you posted.
Yeah.
Just follow us on social media. That's really it. At Covino and Rich.
Should we do a Ouija board live on there?
Caleb Dibroll. No, I'm good on that. I told you, man. I don't need like any like bad juju or karma or dark clouds or I don't need that.
Is it true you used to use a Luigi board?
A Louis, yeah. Well, I'm from Jersey, so
Yeah.
that's what we used.
All of a sudden,
Saw that from Paul.
I'm a here.
It's me,
a Luigi. I'm here.
What do you
my God.
need? You gotta put up under the pipes.
It worked. We summoned them.
I gotta go save the princess.
That's what Lisa Paraggio has.
A Luigi board? I have a question for you.
Thanks, Paul.
What do you think about the Yankees signing Aaron Boone for a bunch of more years?
That's my rando news.
Do you like that?
Are we getting into rando news?
You can get into whatever you want. I mean, you're a big
Rando-
Yankees fan. I just saw that
Are we
coming
doing
across
rando
my
news?
phone.
Rando news of the day. I mean, there's not a whole lot. We touched on a lot of it. Covino and Rich. Again, thanks for hanging out. We did a live show yesterday if you missed it.
News.
If you missed our show yesterday, catch it on the Patreon. We did it a little later. But we were live yesterday, and also catch our Fox Sports Radio podcast, foxsportsradio.com. Thank you guys for being here. Brian Cashman, 3 more years. He signs Aaron Boone. It says resigned. And I'm like, oh, no, re-signed. I'm like, Aaron Boone resigned? No, he resigned.
Resigned. Resigned. Spelled
3
the same.
more years.
One little dash.
Until 2025. I'm okay with that. The only criticism, my Uncle Joe hates on everybody, right? So he hates how Aaron Boone gives everybody like the weakest nicknames. Because in baseball, all they do is put an E at the end of their last name. You know what I mean?
Hey, Booney.
Yeah. Yeah, Guardy, and, he's always throwing those nicknames out there, but he's ultra positive. And that gets real annoying for a hardcore fan when they see their team sucking. Aaron Boone brings a level of positivity that fans just don't want to hear sometimes. You know, like, hey, be real with us. You know Chapman. Well, Chappie, he's, we got to stay positive with Chappie. You know, Chappie, he's staying positive on Chappie, but fans are like, fuck Chappie. Chapman sucks.
Oh, Chappie.
Right.
So Chappie.
Chappie's just going through, Greeny, where Greeny has to step up and
Like, fuck Chad Green. Chad Green sucks. Stop calling him Greeny.
Why does he
We're
sound like
mad
your
at
friend
oh! So my only criticism, and a
Chappie
fan's
Barry.
only criticism, is that he's so positive that it's aggravating. He took a team that sucked all year,
Yeah,
to the playoffs.
Yeah, bro, what are you gonna do? You lost
won over 90 games.
You lost the 1-game wild card to a team that looks unstoppable right now.
So
That sucks.
So although the team was aggravating, he still managed to do pretty well with them. And then they compare what he's able to accomplish with what Joe Girardi had, and what Joe Girardi had shitty lineups and still brought the Yankees to the playoffs and shit like that. So yeah, I'm okay with it because I don't think it was on him. I don't think it was on him at all. I think the team just was too streaky, and I don't think that had anything to do with Aaron Boone. So hey, props to him.
Booney,
3 more years. Booney,
Chappie,
Greeny, Gardy. Like, it's the weakest nicknames. So Cashman, I think he did a solid job of keeping Aaron Boone. It wasn't his fault. He's doing everything he can.
Now,
do you know what today is? Speaking of baseball,
Tuesday.
Today?
15 years ago
Nudie
today.
Magazine Day.
No.
Oh, wait, hold on. Wait, don't tell me.
15 years ago today.
Can I think about it for 1 second?
Something happened in the world of baseball that's been referenced on this show.
Hold on. I'll figure it out.
25 times.
15, was it 21? So that's 06?
No, 06.
Yep.
Oh, I was like 96.
06. Oh, I know.
No, that's a Swingers
Can I
kid.
guess?
06. When,
what day is October?
Rich cried at the Mets game.
I think that's the answer because I'm guessing that was the day Endy Chavez made the greatest catch ever that meant nothing.
Rich must have saw it.
No, I didn't see it.
15 years ago today,
It's 06.
Endy Chavez robbed Scott Rowland in Game 7. Scott rolling.
I was going to say the same thing.
Yeah. Scott rolling.
Drop the starfish.
Come on. Game 7, 2006 NLCS. So why is that referenced so often here on the show? Because Endy Chavez made such an insane catch that in the moment was one of the biggest catches ever.
Well,
but because the Mets ended up losing, it didn't really mount up to anything.
I think if you were to make a list, which I don't plan on making, but if someone were to ever take on this task and you came up with a list of the best sports moments that never counted,
forgotten great
yeah,
moments.
like there could be a game where it's like, yo, this person made the sickest play, or this guy. There are times where someone hits like the go-ahead home run in the top of the 9th.
Yeah.
And they would have been the hero of that town, but the home team ends up winning in the bottom of the 9th. So that moment of glory is erased.
Endy Chavez's moment of glory.
This would, by the way,
was glorious.
This would have been if the Mets went on to win that game and go to the World Series and win. That would be probably one of the top 10 plays of all time.
Yeah, easily. So it's always our reference point. Are we looking for Rich crying?
Oh, you're not going to find me crying.
That would be so great.
I don't think you'll find. You won't find it on this.
Carlos Beltran goes down on strikes.
But why are you showing me this?
There it is.
Do you think I want to relive this 15 years
Caught
later?
looking.
I want to see Rich crying.
They did zoom in on Rich's cry face.
I think it's on the extended coverage. It's not going to be on the main clip. We would have seen it already.
Come on.
Yeah.
But it's the anniversary of that
Carlos
insane catch.
Beltran. Spot, show the Endy Chavez catch that meant nothing.
This is going pretty long.
Well, because what everybody remembers is Carlos Beltran going down looking.
Where were you sitting, Rich?
I was right above Endy Chavez in the left field bleachers.
New York legend, Willie Randolph.
Yeah, he got the raw deal too.
Yeah. But, I mean, that's a legendary name in New York.
Oh, come
Hey, Spot, go, if you can,
So today's the 15th anniversary.
to the
15-year
Endy
anniversary.
Chavez catch. Even with the audio from the announcers, it was the greatest catch that meant nothing.
It was a beautiful catch.
Odell Beckham Jr.'s catch against the Cowboys meant nothing, but it was a regular season game. I agree, Mark. But what about Des Bryant's catch? Remember the non-catch?
Yeah.
He would have been the hero.
Would have been.
Right?
That's why we always reference this
The
clip.
hero that never was. The Mets and the St. Louis Cardinals. This was Game 7, 1-1. Top of the 6th. After Endy Chavez made this catch, everyone in that whole place was like, Mets are winning the game.
Yeah.
Destiny. Destiny. Greatest catch ever.
The bitch.
Look
at us.
I'm right there.
And when you see the
And
highlights.
look at the fist pump by Delgado. Fist pump. Mets are going to win this game. Oh, they lose in the 9th.
Watch the replay, though. It was. Sorry, Jim Edmonds. It was one hell of a catch. 15 years ago today. Look at that. Snow coned it. It almost comes out of his. When he hits the wall, it almost pops out. Yeah, it was.
Oliver Perez on the mound.
Again, you got to remember the moment. The moment was huge. They ended up losing.
Yeah, you guys already got to see my cry face when Tom Brady wins.
There you go. In other news that no one gives a fuck about, Kanye Omari West is officially Ye.
Yeah, my
officially changed his name to Ye.
You know who told me this?
You know what I have to say about that? Yay.
You know who told me this? My mother-in-law. Cindy and Mike are here in California, and they watch the news every day because their generation does. So she's watching the ABC News, and it was one of the main stories. And in other news, Kanye West officially changes his name.
Speaking of West, do you want to play that TikTok clip you sent us? Or no? I mean, there's no real reference.
I do.
Or significance,
Only because I want you to tell me if you think this guy's full of shit.
Yes.
Is he full of shit?
I think the whole thing is fake.
Okay.
But it's funny.
I mean,
Spot, you want to play? Speaking of Kanye West, Rich sent us a TikTok clip that we could play just for fun.
And I'm trying to decide, is this guy full of doo-doo or not?
And then I have a personal news update. Yeah, I agree with you, Bree. Who cares? I don't care. And I'm so confused. Is Kim Kardashian just keeping her last name because of the kids?
Maybe.
That makes sense.
I mean, my
right?
mom still goes by my dad's last name. I mean,
yeah, because on SNL, she introduced herself as Kim Kardashian West. I'm like, I thought they were getting divorced or divorced already.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess for the kids, I guess you do those things.
So, yeah, Spot, I know it's a TikTok video, but do you think this guy's full of shit or not?
If you can get this question right, then you get $10,000 right here in cash. Are you ready?
Right there.
Yes, $10,000.
I'm ready.
I bet. So your mom got 4 kids. North, South, and East. What's the last one's name?
West. East. You so damn stupid.
Your mom has 4 kids. North, South, and East. What's the last one's name? Think.
West.
It's not West. The answer is your name.
My name West.
Your name's what?
My name is West.
Your name's West?
Wait a damn minute.
I don't believe you. Your name is not West. Your name is not West.
What's my name?
West.
Come here, let me. What's my name?
West.
Let me get it about
Your name's
this.
West?
Let me get it about
Your name?
My name West. My name West G. Appreciate it though.
Do you believe him or no, Spot?
Where's your ID? I would be like, where's your license? So, yeah.
My name West.
Then again, here for fun speculation, if you're making this fake ass video, right?
Yeah.
Wouldn't you end it with the guy showing, here's my ID?
Yeah.
Right? Like,
True.
so I don't know.
True.
It's fake to me, but
My
still.
name's West.
Speaking of Kanye West, his name was West. The end. Now, to round out the rando news, we mentioned Red Sox won big. Buffalo lost to Tennessee, but Josh Allen had a big game. We talked about that. Henry had a huge game.
Henry.
And on a personal note, I have a sad update, but just an update.
Okay. Sad.
Well, no. It's all good. It's just an update on a story that I told years and years ago. Remember that story I told you about my old coach, my baseball coach?
That everyone loved, but he ended up being a diddler.
What? Another story.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a true story, though. That was like a really dark story from my hometown. Because that guy touched everybody's life and a lot of buttholes at the same time.
Shut up.
That's a whole other story.
Like,
and kids that I have mental issues that I grew up with, and that's the reason why.
He was touching kids.
And we didn't know that.
Did you ever touch your butthole?
But the kids he
No.
wasn't touching,
Never
he
touched
was
my
like
butt.
a positive, great influence. So it was like, what a fucking wild guy.
Never touched my booty hole.
Did he ever go to jail or no?
Yeah, I think he's out now, but he was in jail forever.
Damn.
Do you feel like?
But he was a fixture in town, and that year, like the year it all happened, they gave him Coach of the Year awards in the state of New Jersey. Like everybody loved that guy.
Yeah.
Be careful of the guy that everybody seems to love.
Honestly, that was a storyline many a time on Law and Order SVU.
I bet.
It's always
Coach
the
of the
coach.
year.
Because the coach.
He won Coach of the Year. I'm not even kidding you. Because the coach.
I'm saying because the coach is always like that figure that people.
Yeah.
And that if they're winning, especially if they're winning,
Yeah.
then you want to look the other way.
No, whole other coach, a whole other story. So I told you a story about my JV coach. Let's call him Mr.
I had a coach once that he sent all these terrible emails.
Did you hear about Andy Reid?
Speaking of Halloween stuff, they called him Chucky.
Oh. Yeah. Well, hey, we'll call him Coach Chuck. Coach Chuck, right?
All right.
He was like the JV coach. Everybody loved him, but he didn't diddle anybody. He was a great coach. He was probably one of my favorite coaches. Like, you ever have a coach that believed in you the most?
I'm sorry, I have to laugh at what Mark said. Being that Covino was big on nicknames, the kids that he diddled, did you call them Diddle Boy?
No, we didn't know.
Oh, okay.
We didn't know.
Yo, Diddle Boy.
Found out later in
life. It was
life.
all in good fun.
We didn't know. But I would say things like this to certain kids, like, wait a second. I had these conversations. Ready?
Like, why was the coach in your bedroom?
Yes. Little Jimmy. Wait a second. We're on this like trip as a team.
We're on a baseball road trip, and coach was in your room for a half hour.
You're sleeping in the room with him? Yeah. Our parents are friends. And I'd be like, that's weird. I wouldn't want to sleep in a room with that guy. Yeah, but he's like an uncle. Our parents. It was, but there's a lot of careless, foolish parents.
Yep.
Imho. I'm not pointing blame. You want to believe in the best of people, but
his name was not.
Can't be a fucking idiot about it.
His name was not Coach Thick Fingers. Go on.
He had some thick fingers though.
Go on.
Did he?
Yeah, he did. Anyway, no. So I had a really great coach who believed in me a lot. Like, I was like his favorite player, and that's a rarity.
Is it true you walked in on him rubbing oil all over Bonk's head?
No, but you know what he used to do? I mean, looking back, you may think these things were all weird. Back then, we didn't think of it as that weird. It's just who he was. We would have, like, we'd go away on road trips, like, Maryland, California, like travel team kind of, right? And, we'd all be in hotel rooms, and he'd wake us up. He'd slap our asses, wiffle ball bats, bust into the rooms, pow, wha-pow, tickle us and shit. Yeah, I was victim of being tickled, I think. But he would, like, wake us up. Yeah, I probably got tickled.
Where, though?
Not on my knoll. It wasn't grassy back then. My knoll was never touched.
How old were you?
13.
Wow.
I think everybody was tickled.
It's a shame.
Yeah. Like,
ooh, gotta wake up.
Yeah, they did. You don't remember? No, I can't even. I was going to make a joke, but it was not
aggressive.
a jokeable thing. I was going to say you guys did infield drills, fly balls, and tickle drills, right?
It was very aggressive, though. It was aggressive.
It's so sad.
But we thought he was like roughhouse.
It's not funny.
Because he was like he was a fucking big, tough dude. So we just thought he was like being militant, but in a fun way.
It's not
so
funny.
Anyway, that's a whole other story. Way to bring down the vibe.
I heard it doesn't count if you wear batting gloves. Is that true?
He would tickle so hard, he would scratch you because his nails were real long. Swear to God.
Oh, man.
So anyway.
Did he have like a cocaine finger or something?
Never diddled. Never.
That's a terrible
but
story.
a lot of people were.
It's a horrible story.
A lot of people were. It's true. Sad. People like that know who's vulnerable.
It's awful.
Yeah, it's awful.
All right,
That's a true story.
No more jokes.
That's a true story. So no, another coach was a great coach, like my favorite coach probably, and I was one of his favorite players for sure, dude. We won the like JV championships, like we did. We excelled.
I have a real question. I'm sorry.
During that era where I was on his team.
I have a real question, and again, apologies for even making light of this creep that touched kids.
Yeah.
My thought is when there's the creepy coach, were we just naive in a different time versus now?
So were the parents.
Because
would you ever, as a parent, let your kid stay overnight with the fucking coach or anything like that?
When they're 13, not in the same room, but kids go on travel stuff, and there's a part of me that wonders, is it the same feeling of when you see some of those Michael Jackson documentaries, like, who are these parents that let their kids stay at the Neverland Ranch? Like, what are they thinking?
Exactly. Even if he did nothing, why would you even do that? Like, allow your kids to spend the night with an adult? Like, you fucking idiot?
I mean, we're smarter now.
Right.
In fact, now we're the opposite, where everyone's too skeptical.
But even then, my dad would have never allowed any shit like that.
No, I'm saying like
you
now.
Fucking crazy, stay in a room with him, you fucking out of it.
Now your instinct is almost too on guard. Like, is everyone a kid toucher? Like everyone's a little, we've gone the extremes, right? It's fucking crazy. Yeah, it does remind me of that Netflix series, Abducted in Plain Sight.
Wasn't touching my no-no box.
All right, so another coach, not the bad coach.
I was pretty... You may look at this guy and say, what an emotionally immature bozo he is. How old is Covino? He acts like a child. Ironically, as a child, I was pretty smart. I was way ahead of the game. I just like stopped at 14. So this Noel was never getting touched. My good coach, this is like JV coach, but then coached a lot of like summer league stuff and shit like that, you know? We won with this dude, man. So when you win with those kids and with that coach, there's a bond there. But I told an infamous story about my coach's dad was at every game. He was like super supportive dad. So my coach's dad and his mom were at all of our games. They didn't have kids on the team, but they were there supporting their son, our coach. And I swear to God, back then, I thought his dad was like 85 years old. Back then. We're talking, I was in junior high school, okay? And I hit this legendary moonshot pop-up. I talked about it.
Yeah, and it hit the guy in the head.
We all looked. And it went, and I remember, I swear to God, it's like a movie. Like, I turned, and I looked into the stands, and I saw this dude, and he was so old, he was there with his tongue out like this. And I'm like, oh, no.
Plunk.
In slow motion, it fucking kerplunked Green Day style right off the top of his head. They had to fucking rush this guy to the hospital.
Kerplunk.
I'm like, oh, man, I killed Mr. Coach Chuck's dad. Oh, he's our mascot. It's like Ted Lasso.
Yeah.
I killed the mascot. It was traumatizing. I'm serious because they had to rush to the game was paused. Ambulance comes. Sorry, Mr. Chuck's dad. Oh. He's getting wheeled off into in a gurney. Swear to God. And he was like, no. It was horrible. It was really traumatic. I swear to God. Then we had to play the rest of the game or whatever. I'm like, man, we hope Coach Chuck's dad makes it through. Anyway, if you remember the story was I saw him on social media like about a year ago. And I'm like, holy shit. That dude's still alive?
What is he, 109?
He must be 105 years old. I can't believe it. And I took credit. I said, I bet you that knock to the noggin I gave him rewired him and gave him an extra 20 years. He got new life. Hey, for all I know, they like searched his brain and found something like, hey, if that fly ball never hit your head, we would have never found the problem. And he got all this time. I was like, man, I can't believe it. He's still alive, this guy.
You gave this guy 20 more years.
I took credit jokingly for giving this guy another 20-something years because he was old and out of it then. As of yesterday, I found out he died. He was 100 years old. 100 years old.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, so I mean, you can't feel that bad, but that guy, and again, I only give you the update because I was shocked to know he was even alive a year ago. He just died. So I'll show you. Here, look, check this out.
No, dude.
Bro. Today, I lost my father at the age of 100. Left enough memories to last a lifetime, but will be remembered as a great father, grandfather, husband, and family man. He touched so many lives. Rest in peace. And he really did. Like, this guy was at every ball game in town because he was, he's old as hell, dude, right? 100 years old. So just the update. Wow. But I don't know what the takeaway is, but I was like, man, 100 years old. You can't hate on that. That's just insane. 100 years old. So,
man.
So that's
wild. Well, hey, rest in peace. The guy lived a great life. When someone lives that long, you just got to say, man, they won.
It was like a mascot of sorts in town. In other news, this is wild, and this is more of a discussion. And we'll read your feedback. Again, 412-267-7469. We also encourage you guys to call up and say what's up. Like, phones are open. I don't know what happened with giving a call. So by all means, anything you want to say about anything, 412-267-7469, 412 the letters CNR show. Raptor in New Mexico. Yeah, that wasn't like a fire you down story. That was like, here's an update. I've told that story a few times.
Yeah, he would have died at 80 if not for the hit in the head. So
he got another 20 years because
you gave him 20 years. Good for you.
More than that, actually, when you do the math. But still, I thought that was pretty cool. And when someone passes especially at 100, just for my OCD,
that's my goal.
That's like, that's incredible.
You know what?
It's like that's great.
There's got to be a feeling where Spot's grandma.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That would drive me insane. Didn't she die when she was
99, right?
99?
On her 99th birthday.
Oh,
But you know what though? The symmetry of the birth and death date being the same. Someone once said that, and it was not to be a downer thought. Like August 9th means a lot to you. It's your birthday. Your whole life. 8-9. August 9th.
it's also
meant
my
something.
Uncle Tommy's birthday.
But it meant something to you, right?
Yeah.
There's a date that you don't know that's gonna sadly mean just as much. Like your death date. Like, for all we know, you could be 94 years old and die on September 3rd, and all of a sudden it's... Imagine if Covino dies at 94 on September 3rd. That's some fucking Nostradamus shit. No, but imagine if you were able to guess your death date out of 365 choices.
Man, it's pretty miserable. But anyway, just an update story.
No one knows. No one knows the day you're going.
Now, this is a weird story, but I believe it, yo. I do. And it's from the Wall Street Journal.
Ouija board?
As I wrap up the rando news and get into a discussion.
I'm going to die on your birthday, and you're going to die on my birthday. It's going to be like we've known each other so long. We're synced like girls on their period.
And I'm immortal.
It's like
And
Jordan.
Spot just lives forever. He keeps getting new heart after new heart. Spot's going to
I'm
get...
like bicentennial.
Yeah.
Man.
Well, Jordan's birthday is the same day that your grandpa died.
That's the crazy statistic. Covino's ex-wife, her birthday was my grandfather's birthday.
Yeah, all right, ready? My ex-wife.
So Layla and my grandfather share a birthday.
Right.
My grandfather's death day is Jordan's birthday.
That's pretty odd.
January
That's pretty
26th
weird.
and August 12th.
That is weird.
I'm sorry, April 12th.
Oh, by the way, Raptor in New Mexico, before I get into the Wall Street Journal story, there was a pop-up Harambe in New York City. Did you see that?
I thought that's your story.
No.
Oh, there was
about
across from the
your-
bowl spot.
What's your grandparents? Any line with his ladies?
Oh, yeah. When did your grandparents pass away?
Oh, there is significance.
No, but what was the date?
No,
What-
I think our grandfathers shared death days.
August 12th? I'm sorry, April 12th?
Yeah.
4/12?
Yeah. I think my mom
What year?
told me that because
90. Oh, yours was early.
Yeah, it's earlier.
guys.
I'm almost positive that my mom said, "You big idiot." That's when my dad died.
Gee, see, we're linked.
You big idiot.
But I wasn't
big
around for that.
buffoon.
So, Harambe, remember those pop-up, what did they call them? Those space-aged sort of, what did they call them when they were popping up everywhere?
Pop-up? What do you mean, like?
Those art fixtures.
Oh, not the cylinders,
What were they called again?
come on, Spot, use your noggin. Remember when those metal things were popping up everywhere?
Oh, the
Spears?
No, the monoliths.
Monoliths.
Monolith.
Remember the monolith rage during the great pandemic of 2020, 2021?
Monolith.
There was like a pop-up Harambe that...
Like a statue?
Yeah, it's right in
It
Wall
wasn't
Street.
a blow up?
No, look it up. It's right across from the Bull on Wall Street in New York City. So there was a
little
bronzed Harambe.
That little girl better watch out.
Monolith. Thank you, Alex Efforts. Thank you, I'm Key.
Monolith.
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 Look at
Monolith.
that.
Yesterday, a pop-up Harambe appeared.
Staring at the bull.
Staring at the bull, saying, look at these Harambe nuts.
Is that why the market turned around a little bit today?
Yeah, it's the power of Harambe.
Oh, see, nice.
Oh, and there's bananas by the bull.
In fact, I'm rocking out with my hog out.
Did you see
In
the bulls
tribute.
covered in bananas?
The bull. Oh, that's great.
Can you eat the bananas?
It's kind of cool. So that's in the news. 7-foot tall Harambe statue appears opposite of the bull down on Wall Street. Okay, so
Do you have any more news alerts, or can I give you a quick little deep thought?
I have a news alert
Oh,
that
yeah.
goes into a discussion. I was never going to bring up
Oh,
Harambe.
all right, go ahead.
So, according to the Wall Street Journal, did you forget all that?
I thought the Wall Street Journal reported the Harambe statue.
No, we made that clear.
No. Oh, did you hear this Harambe statue? Go on.
Teen girls are developing tics.
Yeah, way too young, like at 12.
Doctors say
Oh, ticks?
tics.
Oh,
Ticks?
yeah, ticks. he
Not
said.
dicks, tics.
Or tits.
Teen girls are developing tics.
Like-
not tits.
Like this?
Not
ticks.
ticks.
Doctors say TikTok could be a factor. Experts at
And nowhere they're like,
experts at top pediatric hospitals discovered that most girls showing up at the doctor's offices with tics had something in common. They'd been watching videos of TikTok influencers who say they have Tourette's syndrome. Wall Street Journal also tweets a mysterious rise in cases, like numerous cases of teen girls with sudden severe physical tics, including jerking motions and verbal outbursts, and sometimes blurting out the word beans, led doctors to TikTok. By the way, I think there's serious significance here.
Beans.
There's one girl especially who I even see. She's very cute. And she's like,
by the way, Rich.
Woo, bing, bing, beans.
Rich,
and she's like,
you don't need to do that. You twitch enough.
oh, okay.
Yeah. I think there's serious credibility to this article.
That's why we do our show on Twitch, not TikTok.
They might have tics, but do they have talks? That's a good question, Daniel. Javier Fitz.
Do they have talks?
Let me give you an analogy.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, I would see kids with braces, and I'd see the rubber bands in their mouth, and I'd see their braces and their look with braces and think, kind of cool. I like it. I kind of want braces.
As someone who wore braces,
I don't know. Cool. And you're going to say that,
tore
obviously.
the inside of your mouth apart.
But
and those rubber bands were the most fucking annoying things I've ever had to do in my life.
I understand that. I'm talking about when I was a kid, right? So my analogy or my example is kids see these things, and I think they want to mimic it in a way or subconsciously think like, yeah, that's what makes you different. I kind of want to adapt that. There's some weird fucking mental thing going on there where kids are adapting to things that are deemed as or could be deemed as cool or different. Different is cool. So if girls or people are getting a lot of attention on TikTok and in life because, oh, that's the person that goes, woo, beans. When you see it so often and you're consumed with this shit over and over again, your subconscious starts picking up on shit like that, and you start doing these things subconsciously. I believe it, and that's the update. You never saw the girl?
I've seen the girl that actually has Tourette's.
Okay, well, guess what? There's a lot more than just the one popular girl, and if you focus on this one girl because she's cute, and you're like, wow,
I've seen
that shit comes up in your algorithm more and more often. And now, like I said, it goes back to having green hair. If all the kids are sort of having green hair, you know, kids are like, yeah, well, I want green hair too. And again, this is a study from the Wall Street Journal. It's not just one kid saying beans. It's a lot of kids.
Jubbos.
It's like, you remember how every fucking kid couldn't stand still a few years ago because they're doing the floss dance? Because Backpack Kid did it. A kid couldn't even stand still. He's, dance moves.
I know.
I'm doing a floss.
And that kid is rich. Feel old yet?
Yeah, but Backpack Kid's still an influencer. Weird looking kid. Looks like Robert Englund. Young Robert Englund.
Mike, couldn't be more accurate. Of all the things you've said, and sadly, 15 plus years we've been hanging every day.
Beans!
The dumbest thing you've ever said has nothing to do.
Who said this?
Mike.
Okay.
And I'm going to back him up. You saying braces are cool, I want them, is an insult to everyone that had braces.
Yes.
I don't give a fuck. I'm telling you.
I had braces.
I know
and
it's not a worst.
There was nothing worse than having braces. So that would be like saying, like, man, looks really cool to sit in a wheelchair. Like,
that's the
on a way more extreme level. But
idiots, you think having a tick is cool?
No,
but kids are adapting that shit anyway.
Braces are a pyramid scheme.
You think having Tourette's is cool? No, but kids are seeing it as like
by orthodontists.
Like, oh, that's, you know, I don't have them. They do. Maybe I want that. I don't know.
I'm glad I had braces. It made my teeth, you know, correct. But the braces were a nightmare as a kid. But I know what you're saying. Kids do want to do something that's trendy.
Focus on what I'm telling you here.
Orthodontists are the chiropractors of the dental industry.
Juan saying, I always
John
thought
Z, it's not a bad
cool.
example because it's my example. I'm telling you how I felt, you idiot. You're going to tell me what I was thinking is not real?
Maybe
it was real.
Maybe he's talking about me, not you.
So anyway, TikTok. I think you should find this girl to see what we're talking about.
You know what it is?
There's serious intrigue there as an adult. So imagine how kids feel watching that shit. They're consumed by it, and then next thing you know, they're like,
And you know what happens? If you do something enough, and this, I know it's like if you make that face, you're going to have it for the rest of your life. That's a joke. But if you actually, I think if you start twitching or doing motions enough, you will create a permanent.
So why
sort of thing.
why do you think there's an abundance and this, like, how would you even describe it? A growing number of people with
what
the same
what Spot's
tics.
saying, what Spot's saying makes perfect sense, and I agree. And it goes back to your story. You're right. If kids are constantly doing the same little beep moves on TikTok, they're going to start doing throughout their life, and then it becomes almost reactive, not on purpose. Then you have a bunch of little kids that at first it was on purpose, and then
you develop an endearing feeling like, oh, this girl's really cute. I kind of like her tics. I feel that way watching her.
You know, your buddy Mark has a tick, and I think it probably started out as a joke.
It's not a tick.
He does this thing with like
it's mannerisms.
Like he flicks his watch or hand or something.
Those are mannerisms.
Yeah, but he does it.
Those are mannerisms.
Yeah, but it's not a mannerism if he does it every 5 minutes.
I think there's a difference between someone with a fucking tick and someone who has mannerisms.
No, it's a mannerism, but I think
like the kid I went to grade school with, they used to go like this all the time. That's a tick. You know?
No.
Ooh, nervous ears?
No.
Old nervous ears.
You're all nervous ears. Hey, Dominic, chill out with your ears,
You're missing
buddy.
my point.
Because my buddy's like, yeah, bro, let's go.
My point.
Like that kind of thing.
My point.
It's not a tick.
No. See?
That's like saying when I would argue with Layla, she'd be like, that's a tick? That's just how she is. She does the black lady thing. Like that shit. And I see Melody do that.
Listen to me.
I'm like, yo, chill with that. Chill with that. Daddy, don't play that. I retired that move.
You're making my point by making it.
No, it's not.
All
That's not it. Those are mannerisms. So you're saying that people are taking mannerisms.
I was making my point.
No, I'm not. People
Someone
have tics.
there is a
They're
real
developing
disease
tics.
and a real ailment known as Tourette's.
Yes.
Jobos.
We know people that have Tourette's. We worked with a guy that couldn't work anymore because he was too fucking. He would have like fucking tics and little mumbles, and it was a real problem. Some girl getting in the habit of doing little boop, 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 TikTok things. That's mannerisms where it becomes addictive. And that's, I'm not saying your buddy Mark's a weirdo. I
Readjusting
fucking
my
love Mark.
shirt is not the same thing.
I took,
you know what I mean? It's not. Everybody has mannerisms.
I went on a
Everybody.
date with a girl with Tourette's. I just took her to the Red Sox game.
Everybody has mannerisms. These are straight up Tourette's and tics. They're developing something way more significant than me fucking doing this.
Yeah, but you fixing your shirt
and my buddy going, yeah.
You fixing your shirt,
yeah.
Yeah, but you fixing your shirt and go like this, and your buddy Mark being like, yeah, my man, yeah,
There's a difference between hand gestures and what is going on here. Yeah, and go woo woo, beans woo. There's a big difference there.
But okay,
how do you not see that?
But what I'm saying is not far off of what you're saying. There are people with diagnosed tics and Tourette's. People are developing these things because their mannerisms are being demonstrated on TikTok and social media so much that if someone's constantly doing over and over and over, they're doing it now subconsciously to the point where it's become a tic. If your buddy goes, bro, my man, but he does it so much that
be a mannerisms.
That's all he does. I don't know. I think we're sort of saying the same thing. You're just not realizing it. There's people that are born with a disease.
Jobos.
And then there's people that they do something so much habitually that they can't stop.
You know what it's the equivalent of? Have you guys ever had phantom vibrations from your phone? I get those all the time. Like if I leave my phone somewhere, my leg will vibrate, and I'll be like, "Oh, I got my."
Jen, I know Tourette's. I worked
with
a guy.
Like, oh, my phone's on the couch.
Yeah, no, I know that.
Does that ever happen to you?
I worked with a guy.
Repeated things will do that to you.
I worked with a guy.
Can you pull up a clip of this girl Spot?
Oh, there's the Tourette's girl.
Yeah.
Do you have a link to her?
I'm sure if you put up fucking tics or Tourette's, she's one of the top that come up because she's really cute.
I can't search TikTok.
Oh.
And by the way, I agree with Kyle 100%.
Hang on.
I agree with Kyle 100%. How on earth were you able to deal with a woman getting in your face being like, listen to me? When someone does that clapping thing, I want to lose my mind.
Hold on. Maybe I can find that on YouTube.
Clearly I didn't. So that should answer your question.
mannerism.
If I dealt with it, then perhaps things
So
would have
would you
been
go-
more
yeah.
easy breezy in my relationship.
I'm just saying.
Oh yeah.
I think we're all sort of saying the same thing. Mannerisms.
Is this her?
They're not diagnosing kids with mannerisms.
This is her.
They
right?
now have straight-on tics.
This is her, right?
No, it's not her.
Oh, it's not her.
She's like vaguely Asian and way cuter than this girl.
Oh, okay. Because this girl has
There's-
Tourette's.
So today I'm going to be doing the ABC challenge.
Beans.
It's a challenge for people with Tourette's and tics to do. Ooh! Where basically someone will go through the alphabet like A and then your tics.
By the way, I just searched Tourette's
Your
and tics on TikTok. Endless amounts of people. Endless. So you spend, a few hours just watching
Well, there's
one
more
girl
than
or
one
two
person with tics and Tourette's.
There's one famous one, man. There's like one.
Was
yeah.
she Asian?
She's like vaguely Asian. I'll try. I
Vaguely
can find her,
Asian.
I'm sure.
Let's see.
But either way, that's a story from the Wall Street Journal. I've seen it.
Thank you. Lisa's
as
the
a
only
growing
one.
trend.
Lisa's the only one that is understanding what I'm saying.
Lisa, you're the best.
Oh,
Poragio. Is it a tick when Italians do this and then all Italians do this? Poragio. Is that a tick? That's not a tick. Those are mannerisms. Maybe you could say it's a tick. There's a difference. There's a difference between doing this, Poragio. Hey, Poragio. And because you see other people do it, and someone going, there's a difference.
Chubos.
There's a little bit of a difference.
There's a big difference.
Oh, I found her.
There's a
Hi,
monstrous
as most of
difference.
us know.
I found her.
Some person that can't uncontrollably put together a sentence.
This girl.
Yeah.
Versus someone that does their mannerisms so much that it becomes part of who they are. That's a big difference.
Hi, as most of us
take a
know.
look.
Fuck off. I have Tourette's. And with my Tourette's, I also have something called coprolalia. Coprolalia is an involuntary outburst of obscene tics, which is why I am saying, fuck off, bitch. All these bad words. Keyword
So here's this
involuntary.
girl. She's cute as hell. She's getting tons of attention.
I
She
can't
sounds like an
control it.
anime character.
Fuck off. Woohoo, fuck off.
On Tourette's, but we worked with a guy who I was pretty close with that not lost his job. He had to step away, and I don't even know if he works anymore. He had his Tourette's had gotten so bad that he was constantly like weird head movements and couldn't put sentences together without it was a real issue.
Why would anyone want that?
Yeah, so what I'm saying is that
No
guy,
one
the
wants
guy we
that.
worked with, and this girl who
That's
and
why
this
I
girl
brought
who
up
have
the example that
Yeah.
you're shitting on.
people that have real
As
Tourette's.
a kid, no one wanted braces, but
Yeah.
I'm saying kids are looking at this stuff as intriguing, and it makes them different. It makes people popular.
I think we agree.
Kids are going to gravitate toward weird things like that, and then they're starting to develop this stuff.
I
That's
think
the
we
story
agree.
from Wall Street Journal. I'm just reporting it.
I think we agree more than you think. I think we're
Yeah.
saying the same thing, that Tourette's and something someone's born with is different than people are developing things because their own mannerisms have gone so overboard that they're on social media all day that they're starting to actually become that. You know how you always say, if you say the same fake joke all the time, it actually becomes your joke?
Kind
if
of.
you keep doing all the fake little tics all the time, and then you're like, oh, now I'm sort of subconsciously doing it.
But you were saying that my buddy has a tic. Those are my buddy's mannerisms.
Yeah, that became part of him. He doesn't have
But that's
diagnosed.
not a tic. That's just him.
Okay.
I mean, those are like,
Yeah.
that's how he talks. We're from New Jersey. Yo. I had another friend. We mimic another friend. He's like, I have a friend, Justin. This is my impression of Justin. Yo, bro, going out there. Is that a tic? He would do that all the time.
It's a mannerism that's got out of control. It's a mannerism out of control.
And we joke about that. That was just his mannerisms. So I'm saying, like, my buddy didn't have a tic. That's just who he is. These people are developing tics.
Yeah.
Wall Street Journal, look it up.
gotta
It's
be
a
awful.
growing story, by the way, because I've seen this time and time again in the past few weeks.
You want to question it and laugh, but it's so wrong. But when these people start just bursting out random
and my
curse
daughter,
words,
my
like,
daughter
why-
tells me about this too. Her friends are also doing this shit.
But like, why would?
So you know.
But why?
Are you
I'm,
serious?
aren't you so intrigued as to why
know what?
it goes vulgar?
She's not doing it though, is she?
They get attention
Kick her in the
from it.
face.
They get attention from it. Trust me.
Jubbos.
Vulgarity. I'm amazed how that's what always pops out, and it seems consistent, right?
No, it's weird. It's fucking weird. I don't like
Imagine
the
there's-
TikTok for the kids. Is just too much for their little vulnerable minds. It's too much. I fucking hate it.
Paragio brings up a great point. Kids nowadays creating their own issues if they're not legitimately diagnosed by a doctor. Like kids seem to want to have something wrong.
And they crutch on it.
some
And they
cases.
like it. Like, oh, that's Becky. She has tics. Oh, cool, Becky, yeah. Because, because being like a normal person just isn't like cool.
That's...
Dude, I'm being serious.
No, I know you are.
Yeah.
Jason brings up a great point. Kids copying things that they think are cool can't imagine what it would be like to live in real life with that issue. Like someone born with Tourette's.
Right. That's why parents are taking their
Like,
kids to the doctor. And all these doctors are saying, they have one thing in common. They all follow these same people.
These people can't turn it off. It's like, they want to turn it off and they can't. And they're doing these TikTok videos to draw awareness to it, not to make other people want to do it.
Apparently, there's a lot of foreign kids that have tics too, like actual tics on their neck. That's another trend where people pick them off. But actual ticks. I'm talking the bugs. And I know Rich has seen these, right?
Gross.
Where they have all these little ticks attached to their necks.
Gross.
And they get them removed.
Gross.
Anyway, the end. That's your random news of the day. It's fucking ridiculous.
Wait, people are voluntarily putting ticks on their neck?
Yeah. On TikTok. All the time. I see that all the time.
That is ridiculous.
Yeah.
All right, let's see.
When are people going to just start injecting themselves with like poison for videos?
How do we help these kids?
You mean
That's a great question,
You mean like
Lisa.
eat Tide Pods?
I'll tell you how you help these kids. Stop. There's so much like over the top liberal horse shit.
Well, is
where it's like you're overcorrecting and over accepting. Like certain things are mental issues that need to be addressed and fixed, not just accepted.
Yeah.
That's how you help these
like
kids.
Demi Lovato.
Yeah, like, oh wait, hold on. Instead of accepting this terrible behavior, maybe we should try to help it and fix it.
Instead of
That's the problem.
Like instead of Demi Lovato getting the help she needs,
right.
It's like, oh, like she's just really woke and loving.
Yeah,
or she
that's
has
the
like
issue.
or she has stuff that needs to be addressed.
And that's
right?
over liberal. Nothing wrong with being liberal on social issues and certain things in life. But when it gets to now you're accepting like mental issues where they need help, that's a problem. So that's how you fucking stop being such a fucking bitch boy. Everybody's bitch boys.
Ooh, bitch boy.
And say, no, that's not, why would we accept this terrible sort of thing? Let's help them.
Bitch boy. Damn. All right. Any other deep thoughts?
No. No. I mean, I got other things to talk about.
Oh. What are you doing?
Fixing my
Oh,
shoelace.
I was like, what is he doing? I wanted to show everyone a picture. Spot, I sent you a picture.
I mean, I got to use the bathroom, but it's locked.
Oh, go to the other one down the hall. Go to the other one down the hall. And Spot, while he's doing that, I'm going to get something too. We could take a moment and someone, I believe Super Agent Sean Wyman gave us a photo of Covino fireside, but actually photoshopped in a fire.
Is that his phone?
Yeah, his phone.
Let's see who it is. Answer it.
It's a 908 area code.
Ah, it's Jersey.
Jersey.
Video.
Yeah, there it is. Okay. We'll be back in 30 seconds.
You just want to show the photo?
Yeah. I mean, how do you not love it?
Hey, welcome to All Fired Up with Steve Covino. This is me, chilling in front of a fire. Today, we're going to talk about the Yankees. The Yankees. Chains. Earrings. The Yankees. Luigi boards. And many other things on my mind. But first, I'd like to shout out my mother. Hi, Ten. How's it going? All right, back to All Fired Up with Steve Covino.
Put it back up.
Oh, sorry.
I got this chain from my high school girlfriend. She ended up leaving me for a player on the New Jersey Nets, but I still love this chain.
So anyway, the Yankees.
Look at my watch. My watch is a Folex. I bought it at 42nd Street.
What do you think of this blazer? This blazer is casual yet fancy.
First of all, not a Folex. But I got plenty of ladies that you would dream to get rocking a Folex. That is a Marc Jacobs watch, I believe. And I like that watch a lot. This
Folex
is a Nixon.
A Richard Nixon or a Trot Nixon?
Just a Nixon. But thank you guys for hanging. Appreciate that. Catch me on Turbo later tonight.
I'm laughing at myself.
Thank you for being part of our Patreon. Send it to a friend, please. There's so many weaker shows out there with more people listening that it's mind-baffling. I think what we do is superior to all the shitty shows that I hear about and that get better results than we do. That's where we count on you to spread the word. We appreciate it.
We must look inside. What do we need to do differently?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Either that or I'm going to quit.
Yeah. One of the two.
Yeah.
Spot, one more picture I sent you. And I ask you a very light, easy question. What do we do with this kid's hair?
Have you tried the gabagool? Let me tell you, the gabagool.
I got a better picture.
Is top notch.
You got a better one?
Welcome to my fireside chat.
If you're going to make fun of me, I'll give you a
all
better one.
fired up with Steve Covino. Now back to the Yankees.
You want a better one?
Sorry, what?
You want a better one?
Yeah, give him another one.
That photo was way better.
Nah, my mom said I look more handsome in this one.
Oh, well, if your mom said it, then show it.
All right. Waiting. In the meantime, can I show the other photo?
Yeah, show the other photo.
Okay.
I'm curious, what do you think we should do with this kid's hair? Like, I'm so curious as to
sorry, I
what
gotta
to
get rid
do.
of myself.
Take away your stupid mouth.
I have the. Let's face it, I'm the man of the house.
No, but what do you think we should do with that hair?
I say you sell it and make a wig for Rocket Dog. Sell that, yeah.
I just, there's
I want to see.
I'm like, I just don't know what to do.
Give me 30 seconds.
Like, I don't want to, I don't want to cut it. Sarah doesn't want to cut it, but there's going to come a point where his hair's too long. Like, do you keep him with this long, flowing fucking surfer boy? I mean, he lives in L.A., a little surfer boy, but he's got a mane.
He's like Kenny Mayne.
Look at that mane.
Nah, it's great mane.
That's fantastic.
The main event.
It's like, it's
the main attraction.
I just can't, I look at him and I'm like, man, he should be in like little kid shampoo commercials.
Yeah,
Look
he's
at that
got
mane.
he's got like the Great American Hero sort of.
So yeah, no,
he's got a Thurman Merman.
I never thought I'd be that parent that's like, I don't know when I want to get their first haircut, but I'm like, geez, like, how do you
put it in
cut
a man
that?
bun? Put it in a man bun.
Yeah, but I'm starting not to like when they do the man
And
bun.
put it in the, like you said, the who had that? Who used to wear the headband?
Like the Jamie Tart headband type
Or
of
like
thing?
doesn't Justin Herbert wear that sometimes?
Yeah, like the little
yeah.
Sell his hair as
Like
an NFT.
like a soccer hairdo.
Yeah,
like
don't
put a
cut
headband on it.
He's got Uncle Jesse hair. Like he has Spot. Show the picture of Ben one more time. Picture. Did Stamos have that hair in Full House? I don't even know if Stamos had that hair.
No, he's got the Donnie Lalonde.
It's fantastic.
He's got the turn the radio on for the sweet sound. Eric Harmon.
Eric
He's got the Eric Harmon. He's got the Adam Curry going on. You know why? Because he takes after you.
Adam
He looks
Curry
like
had more
Malibu from American Gladiators.
Adam Curry had more of like a fro kind of going on.
No, but look at the back. He's got like a mullet in the back.
I said to Sarah, are we missing out by not trying to have this kid do like commercials? Like he could be in a kid's like hair. He could absolutely be in like a kid's hair commercial. Look at that. A wig for Rocket Dog is
donate it.
The best suggestion I've heard so far.
Oh my God, that's fantastic.
Into the thick of it.
Into the thick of it.
Into the thick of it.
Greatest American hero.
Told you. He's like, what has happened to me?
Believe
Believe it or not, Ben's walking on air. He never thought he could be so free. If you don't get the reference, the Greatest American Hero, the TV show, the dude in the show had like curly blonde hair. Who can it be?
Believe it or not.
All right, well, going to start wrapping up. Send your suggestions to Covino and Rich, at Covino and Rich. I think right now he's a little kid and he's got gray hair. I think you leave it alone. You
Thor
put a
for
headband
Halloween?
on him. Yeah, make him Thor for Halloween. That's great. I think he looks cute. Eventually you cut it, fade up the sides a little bit, give him a cool little boy haircut. Yeah. But he's so little. He's in diapers wearing a onesie. Yeah. So, right now it's fun. He looks cute. You let it grow for a little bit. when he's about to start school or,
give him a little shag trim.
A little shape up, So right now it's really cute, but he's got one hell of a head of hair. So guys, I want to thank you guys, Cubs fans, Greg Kelly, all the people that hit us up, the regulars. You know who you are. Thank you guys.
I can make my next toupee from Ben clippings.
There you go.
Yeah. And someone please make a Photoshop of Ben's hair on Rocket Dog.
Enjoy your Game 3 tonight. It's a must win for the Doyers. Yeah. Enjoy your tacos.
And we'll see you tomorrow.
And yeah, spread the word, please. And if, by the way, you need more of your Covino and Rich fix, Fox Sports Radio was great this weekend. The podcast is on our Twitter. Click the link, share it, enjoy that. And we were live yesterday. If you signed on, you're like, where are they? We started late yesterday, but we did a whole show. I gave you the recap on Jordan's sister's wedding and everything. And
it was great.
It was a fun show.
It was a fun one yesterday.
Yeah, please check it out. If you didn't, that's on our Patreon. And if you're only a Tier 1 subscriber, we gave you the video for free yesterday. So you want to click the link and check that out by all means.
Cool.
If you're listening on Tier 1, we appreciate you. If you're watching us on Tier 2, thanks a lot, guys. And maybe we'll do some Behind the Velvet Ropes later this week. But thank you for hanging.
No, we will. Thursday, Behind the Velvet Rope.
That's right, in Austin.
Covino and I investigate the party scene on 6th Street in Austin. So
we'll be back
6th
live
Street
tomorrow.
in Austin Thursday. But yeah, we're live tomorrow. We'll see you then. Arrivederci, baby.
See you in the promised land.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, guys.